from the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Gauntlet Season 3, powered by Crucial, along with our apparel partner 656, our accessories partner Cosmic Byte, and our esports partner Aimlab. Make sure you scan that QR code down there, get yourself a Red Bull. But my name is Loki. Joining me for this one's going to be Crips. The most awaited match of the day is finally here, Crips. Enigma Gaming going up against Velocity. I am very excited to see in which way this goes, because all of these players have been playing against each other for such a long time that I'm quite sure there's going to be so many layers to this match.
Oh, there's going to be layers upon layers, kind of like an onion. And at the end of the game, someone or the other will definitely feel like crying. That's what happens when you unravel the layers and you reveal the mystery within. Honestly, these guys have also faced each other so many times at this point that they might be aware about each and every one of their abilities and each and every one of their tricks. Over the course of the last 2 months, Velocity Gaming and Enigma Gaming have faced each other 3 times. Twice in the same tournament, that too on this very channel. So we'll get into those historical details later on. But for now, just to set the context of the tournament, Velocity versus Enigma are the two titans of the tournament. And when I
Yeah.
say Titans, these guys are absolutely at a legendary status right now. The literal number one and number two team of the country, of the tournament right now.
Yeah.
That's what they are. Let's take a look at the MVP standings, and some of the best players from these teams are populating the MVP standings.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, no one from Enigma is on here, but definitely Velocity. How could they not be here? I mean, it's the maker of death himself. 341 kills to his name. 307 is his ACS with 11 MVPs. Let me remind you, Crips, there have been 7 best of threes that they played in the group stages. That
Yeah.
makes it a total possible of 21 games. Out of that, Deathmaker has gotten MVP in 11 of them. Remember how I said possibly 21? Yeah, that's because a lot of games from Velocity have been 2-0s. So just think
Yeah.
about that for a moment.
Yeah, man's been the MVP of his team almost every single time he steps into the server. And there will be death and carnage that follows him. Of course, that's what happens when you summon Deathmaker. So he's up there at the number one spot. Paradox, we got to see some really nice action from him today as well when he went up against TEAMXO. In fact, two members of both True Rippers and TEAMXO are present over here. The only person who is in the MVP standings but not in the tournament anymore is Strix. But
Yep.
I can I consider myself that we got to see like 3 out of the 4 MVPs today in both the
Yep.
matches, and of course the more awaited matchup is going to be this one, Velocity versus Enigma. But let's take a look at what's at stake over here. These guys are in the upper bracket, and very soon they want to be in the finals as well. And that's what happens when these two titans face each other. One of them has to go down. The loser of this match will go ahead and face Team Exploit from Pakistan. The
Oh, yeah.
winner proceeds to fight Team XO.
Yeah, I mean, this is shaping up to be a great one. The winner also secures themselves top 3. So that's no, I believe it's yeah, I think it's top 3, isn't it? Yeah, it is top 3. So, yeah, the winner of this match, you get top 3 at least. That is guaranteed. And yeah, I mean, who doesn't want that top 3 spot? I'm quite sure Velocity are going to go for a hat trick themselves. So, top 3 is the bare minimum that they must do, but they could potentially lose out to potentially lose out to Enigma. They could end up going in the lower bracket and have to continue their journey from there. It's not something that Velocity has had to experience, but it's definitely something that they might end up experiencing if Enigma are on their A game today, because Enigma have been looking solid. They've been looking absolutely good. They look like a team that has been playing together for a very, very long time, even though that is not the case. And it just goes to show how well RVK, Antidote, and Rexy have just come in and adapted to the team, and how Hika has also been playing, and how Rawfuel has also adjusted to the new players coming in. And honestly, Enigma versus Velocity is going to be hype AF. I just think that, we're going to have so many duels going up. We're going to see Raw Fuel popping off. We're going to see Deathmaker popping off. We're going to see Hika come up with those nutty plays every single time. Or we're going to see Marzel popping off on Velocity as well. This is fun. It is a really fun matchup ahead.
Yeah, and some of these rounds will come down to trading, and some of these rounds will be so fast that we won't even get the time to look at the kill feed anymore. Most of them will end up, starting in a very slow fashion. But by the time the apex of the round hits, almost everyone's gonna be dying within a matter of seconds. That's what happens when these two very disciplined, very tactically advanced teams go up against each other. They start off the round slow, they build up, they try to spread it out and gather information. But when the crucial moment comes, cometh the man, cometh the hour, the whole team descends upon you like they have the vengeance of God flowing through their veins. And
Oh yeah.
within a matter of seconds, the round can turn on its head. That's just how exciting this game is going to be. And to some extent, it's going to be somewhat unpredictable as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm very excited to see what both of these teams bring to the table. So let's jump into the introduction for one of them right off the bat. Let's have a look at the team introduction for the side of Velocity Gaming, I believe, and let's have a look at all of their names and put some faces to the names that we've been seeing this entire time. And there you go. Those are the 5 people who are going to be playing today. But not the man in the middle, not him. It's going to be Vibhor standing in for him, but everyone else is in there. It's going to be Hellfighter. It's going to be Marzel, the maker of Death and Right to Ace, and Vibhor. So, yeah, I mean, Velocity, obviously stacked roster. They used to have MW1 on the team as well back in the day, but yeah, he steps in from time to time if needed, but only if needed. And yeah, Velocity, even despite their 7-man roster, these guys are like, they're just so strong. I mean, it's the team to beat if you're a team that is looking to rise up in Indian Valorant. That if you can beat Velocity, that's your trial by fire. Now you can start looking to establish your name in the Southeast Asian circuit. So yeah, Velocity have certainly been the stalwarts of the scene for a long time. Let's see if they can kick it up a notch today and get themselves that third trophy under their belt, which I'm quite sure that they're going to want to have, in this by the end of this season. I'm quite sure a hat trick for them would be very, very satisfying.
Very satisfying, very appropriate too, worthy of a god. Plus, they have 7 people. So, this is the caveat of Velocity Gaming, right? Every time you face them, you might end up facing a completely different team because one player changes everything. One player in a different location, in a different game, he dictates the pace of the game, and of course, sometimes even the places where the fights take place. So, Velocity Gaming can adapt themselves according to their opponents. In fact, we might even see them switch up players in between maps if they feel like that's the way to go. But speaking of maps, I'm kind of concerned about their performances now. Because we have a little bit of time, let's get into the historical context of these two teams. Okay, just a couple of months, not even a couple of months ago, just a couple of weeks ago, these teams were fighting each other right here on this channel in the Amazon Indian Championship. Now, they faced each other twice, once in the upper bracket and once in the grand finals. In the upper bracket finals, Velocity beat Enigma 2-0, 13-5 on Haven, 13-11 on Split. Now, here's the interesting part. Enigma Gaming was able to respond well in the next match. And this time, instead of losing Split 13-11, they beat Velocity 13-2. So that's a massive comeback from Enigma, and they really learned how to bounce back on Split. But the overall result of the series was still Velocity winning out against Enigma. So how do you deal with this now? I mean, they have shown signs of life, they have shown signs of coming back, but never in the last few months they have been able to defeat Velocity. So
Definitely.
yeah, Enigma is in a little bit of trouble, tiny bit of trouble.
For sure. And even though both of these teams are juggernauts, they're titans in their own right, there is still a David and there is still a Goliath. And that Goliath is Velocity. David is Enigma. But how does this story end? I mean, we don't know. We know David and Goliath ends. David wins. But does Enigma win this time around and stay true to the storyline? Or is it going to be Goliath just crushing the tiny little David, stomping him into dust and just continuing his reign of terror? It's a bigger question to ask. But before we jump into that, let's jump into the player spotlight for the side of Velocity, see who it is we should be peeling our eyes out for. And I imagine it's, I was going to say it's going to be Muzzle, but guess what? It's actually Hellfighter on that controller with a very, very good KDA and also a sick combat score of 222. For a controller, that's really nice.
For a controller that plays as passively as Hellfighter does, that is indeed impressive. And sometimes I feel like he still has the blood of a Sentinel inside of him, even though he picks up the Astra very often. He sometimes even switches up to Cypher depending on the map and depending on who else is playing in the roster. Sometimes Vibor helps him out. If there's Muzzle in the team, then Muzzle will take up the role of his Sentinel, usually the Killjoy. So it depends. He keeps on switching things up. But the best part about Hellfighter is his clutch potential. If this guy is alive in a clutch situation, there is a 75% chance that he's going to win it. Every 3 out of the 4 engagements will go his way, simply because he's that good at understanding the basic human psychology of his enemies. He uses the Astra utility to bamboozle the hell out of his opponents and then catch them when they're not looking in the right direction. That's how good Hellfighter is. Plus, if he is not the only person alive, if he has the backup of someone else, like let's say Ace, then he's going to set up Ace for success instead of the other way around. Usually it's the job of the initiator to help his team set up for a potential attack. Hellfighter does it instead because as an Astra, he has a lot more control over the map. If he has someone like, let's say MW1 or Deathmaker alive, one of the duelists, then this guy will make sure that he clears out all the common angles using his Astra utility so that his duelist has only one place to look at and he can then help them channel their firepower in the right direction. That's just how good Hellfighter is, and I don't know who from Enigma can step up against him.
I don't either. I mean, you hope it's going to be Raw Fuel, someone who is the duelist and someone who's going to go in and do all the grunt work. But it could also be RVK because that man is a bit of a genius by himself, isn't he? Known for that sheriff, known for being able to one-tap heads. But you know what? It's not just RVK. It's not just Raw Fuel. It's the entire team of Enigma. And with that said, let's jump into the introduction for the side of Team Enigma. Put some faces to the names and see who it is that they're made up of. Of course, recently undergoing a sort of a roster shuffle, but coming out strong on the other side of it. And, not really taking that much time to get settled in. One would imagine that they would probably take a little bit longer, but Enigma, the road was a little bumpy at the start. It was rough. They were losing a lot of games that they shouldn't have, but then they just look like a completely different team. And every single one of these players, Hika, RVK, Antidote, Raw Fuel, Rexy, they have been just chiming in every now and then. And it seems that even Antidote has really found his groove on that controller. He
Oh, yes.
drags out of his mind. And that's very rare for a controller player.
Exactly. I mean, there was a time when Antidote used to main the Rays and he wasn't all that impactful, but then he switched up roles. He started being the IGL, started playing the controller, and now this man hits like nothing else. This man absolutely slaps his opponent left, right, and center. You would imagine a Jet to be the default topper of the team. Well, guess what? There are two default toppers. Of course, Raw Fuel, he keeps on popping off regardless of whatever weapon he has, but if you put that big bad operator in the hands of Antidote, he can channel his good old days when he was the default sniper for a lot of the teams that he played inside. And of course,
Oh,
with
yeah.
him at the helm, and of course, with him on the, on the Astra, he can even clear up positions very deep inside enemy territory and command his team like nothing else. With him on the Astra, he can control the timings of attacks like an absolute master. And his team just follows his command. And once they do not stop.
Yeah. I
They
mean,
cannot be stopped.
yeah, exactly. And doesn't this team look like the perfect mix of like fresh new talent, just being tempered by older, experienced players, wise to the ways of the world, and just giving them the right environment to flourish and shine. Because that's what it reminds me of. When you have someone like Antidote, when you have someone like Rexy on your team, who've got so much experience under their belt, they've played so many lands, they've played against the top Indian teams. These guys know their stuff. These guys know what's going to happen. These guys know what they're doing. So when you bring in players like Hiccup, players like Rawfu, players like RVK, who are really, really good at the game and who, perhaps didn't have the same level of experience as they do, I mean, they start shining a lot brighter. And in particular, I kind of want to give, sort of the baton to Rawfu because he's been so good every single time I've seen him. But I have to talk about Hiccup, man, because this man is really the unsung hero of the team. There are rounds where he managed to find a couple of kills that completely changed the course of the round and turn the momentum of the game on its head. This was the case even before the roster swap came through. And ever since the roster swap has came through, this man has been on a tear. So yeah, just really, really strong stuff coming out from him. And guess what? Now with the addition of YB joining in Enigma as a coach, I think things are just going to be looking up for them.
Yeah, I mean, Vibe was the IGL of Optic India when Marzel and Antidote were playing
Mhm,
under him. Now
mhm.
Antidote and Vibe are reunited, and I think that man can add some serious glamour to this roster. They're already pretty damn good, but under the leadership of Vibe, I think they can reach the stars. And speaking of
Yeah.
the stars, Velocity will be looking a little bit in danger. Let's take a look at who's going to be the player that's hogging all the limelight for Team Enigma over here, the shining star of the team. Of course, it's
Oh,
none other than
wow.
Raw Fuel.
My goodness, look at that man. Does he look like someone you want to mess with? No. This guy looks like he could bench press you. Like, I mean, seriously, the look on his face, he would slap you around and toss you in 10 different ways, put you in a fetal position, and before you know it, you've broken 3 bones in your body and probably need to visit the doctor and the ER room. So, yeah, don't
And
mess with him.
therapy.
And therapy, of course. The therapy is hey, I didn't even mention it, but you're gonna need it. Well, with an ACS of 274 for a Jet player, that is insane. That means every duel he takes, he comes out on top, and then he does some even more work. Because look at this man with an ACS of 274. He's the first one going into the site, and usually that means that he should be traded out, right? Usually it means that he should be dying, and that used to be what used to happen back in the old Enigma, but not in the new one. In the new one, this guy lives. In the new one, this guy thrives. He goes out, he peeks, he takes off heads, and he opens up the site for his team. And even when he doesn't, just the information he provides just sets up for Raw Fuel. It sets up for Hikka. It sets up for Rexy. It sets up for Antidote to try and get those kills and open things up. And Raw Fuel has just been paramount to their success. Even picking up the operator as and when needed, but he's really someone who takes his time with that operator, Chris. It's something I've noticed about Raw Fuel, that he's not very quick to bring it out right away. He is the kind of guy who would pick up the Phantom or the Vandal in that first buy round, instead of trying to save up for the operator. And then when his team really needs it, when they lose a round and they're trying to come back, that's when the operator comes through. And it makes it so scary for his opponents, right? Because you never know when he's going to be picking up the operator versus when he's going to be picking up the Vandal. So I mean, not only do they have to worry about the operator player hitting his shots, they also have to worry about, well, is he even opping at all? Because even if that piece of information is not available to the enemy team, they just have to pretend that there is an operator on the enemy team until they find out otherwise. So yeah, he definitely just puts in the fear into his opponents as well. And maybe against a team like Velocity, it's going to be red. Maybe it's not. That's what's going to make this game very, very interesting. But so is the map, Peter. So let's have a look at it. Crips, I mean, we've seen Velocity play a lot of Breeze. I imagine it's going to be in the pool. But just as I had said that, it's not in there. It's
Nah.
Icebox followed by Split and Mind. What do you think
No
of
way,
this?
No way that Enigma let Breeze slip through. They will definitely ban it right at the beginning. I'm assuming that soon after that, Velocity ban Haven, because that is one of the maps in which Enigma was able to beat Velocity the last time they faced each other. Of course, that was in October. It's been a couple of months since that was, but I think they don't want to take any risks. So Velocity picking up Icebox is not much of a surprise. They have the A side and the B side of Icebox sorted out pretty well. Their stats are pretty damn good over there. The mid part is something that they struggle with sometimes, but so does Enigma. So I think they're evenly matched over there. Now, Split. This thing could go either way. Of late, Enigma have had quite a bit of changes in the Split approach. Usually, they used to have RBK on the Cypher. Man started playing Viper very recently, and
Mhm.
they sometimes pick up the double controller setup on Split. And then you have Hika, a man who started off as a Raze main, moved on to Sage, and then the Sky. He can do anything and everything on Split because all of those agents are very viable.
Yeah. I mean, this is where I kind of want to ask you a question as well, right, Chris? Because we've obviously seen the international meta develop. Clearly, KO is a very valuable pick. It seems that the ability to throw in flashes however you please without the restraints of someone like a Breach who needs to use a wall, or someone like a Sky who needs to control a Hawk in the meantime. It just seems that the ability to have those flashes and that fragment ready to stop a push and have that knife point and that null command and everything, it's just shaping up to make it so that every map that is not super wide, that is not super big like Breeze, almost always has a KO in it. And even then, we see teams picking up the KO. Even on a map like Breeze, at times, you're going to see them picking it up because it's just so open that the flashes are really, really good. Do you think that's a
Hmm.
possibility from the side of Velocity or Enigma today? And if it is, who is going to be playing that agent, according to
I
you?
We have seen teams pick up KO quite often. TEAMXO definitely loves picking up KO in Split, but I haven't really seen anyone from these teams start, personally adapting the KO that well. I haven't really seen them get used to that agent. I don't think they will pick up KO, at least not in Icebox. It doesn't really matter. In Split, they may do it, but it depends on their comfort picks as well, right? To some extent, even your comfort is important. Without further ado, let's jump into the game and let's see what the lineup of the agents is going to be. In Icebox, it's pretty standard. Your
Mhm.
default Sage, Viper, Sova, Killjoy, Jet. That's like the most standard Icebox lineup it can get. And both the teams will end up going for something similar.
Yep.
Anything out of the box? Not really.
Yep. No big surprises here. I was anticipating a KO pick, but doesn't seem to be on the menu for either of these teams. Vibhor picking up the Sage is very interesting, though. I imagine he would be the guy picking up the Viper, but on this map, it seems that Hellfighter is the one who's going to be playing that controller. And
Yeah.
instead, Vibhor is going for that Sage. And I kind of like this, right? Because Sage on offense
Yeah.
can be played a little bit offensively. You can be aggressive with it, especially on those pistols. That heal is just so strong to, get some information. And even though you might take some chip, you go
Hmm.
back, you heal up, and you repeak and try to take that fight again. So yeah, what better person to play than Vibhor, a man whose aim is just really, really good. And every single time
Choose
he's
your
on the server,
agent.
it's not the amount of frags that he gets. That's, of course, always very high impact. He does get a lot of frags, but it's just the situations he finds those frags. And, you're down two
Yeah.
members, no worries. Vibhor's got you covered. He's just shot two in the head. The map is open now. The world is your oyster. I
The
mean, do you
world is
need him
your
to
oyster. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's just that's this man, and honestly, seeing him on that stage, it's gonna be making things very interesting because I don't think we've seen Vibhor be the guy who goes in and takes those deals first. He's always the one trying to be a little bit sneakier, trying to be a bit more calm, waiting for the
Yeah.
comps to come in, and then using his head to figure out where the opponents are.
Yeah, but because he's calm doesn't mean that he's passive all the time. He keeps on
Yeah,
switching up his positions every now and then. If he's starting on the defensive side, you might see him wall down the tube area a couple of times, but only a couple of times. He then saves up his wall in the later rounds to put it up in some different place, maybe set his teammates up for success, or maybe like a surprise boost or something like that. Sometimes he even saves it for the retake situation. So that versatility on Vibhor is really important. Plus, I think it's very important for us to point out the whole difference between Raw Fuel and Deathmaker's playstyle. Both of them are Jet players, but Raw Fuel, sometimes he plays along with his team a lot more often. The other
Yeah.
times he starts to play along with his team, but then they end up going somewhere else. He ends up becoming the lurker. So there's a role switch. That happens in Enigma quite often. Deathmaker, on the other hand, he will almost never play away from his team. He will always have someone on the other backing him up. So that's one major difference between Raw Fuels and Deathmaker style as well. Whether or not they're comfortable leaving the side of their teammate is what makes them different.
Yeah, and another thing about Velocity that's really cool is that they all have designated roles, right? You always know Hellfighter is always going to be lurking. You know, DM is always going to be the first guy peeking. You always know Right to Ace is there to trade things out and to be the clutch master if need be, as he's known right to clutch. And yeah, you compare that to someone like Enigma, like you've mentioned, who are a lot more fluid with the way they play the game. And it could make for a very interesting mix. I mean, usually you throw a bone to the team that is more flexible, right? Because that's what matters more. It's your ability to adapt to situations, and it's your ability to respond to those situations in the correct manner that determines who gets the greater number of rounds.
Yeah,
And
but on the flip side, if you're being flexible, means you can't make your plan A work. That means that's why you have to go to plan B, plan C, plan D.
yep,
That's another way of looking at it. Of course, flexibility always helps, but if the number of pages in your playbook are being torn apart rapidly, there's a limit to how many more pages you have left. There's a limit to how flexible you can be. I mean, at one point, your backbone will break if you try to bend that low.
absolutely. And I imagine that Enigma are probably gonna have to stick to the strats a little bit, because once the side of Velocity figure out all their options, they're gonna be shutting them down left, right, and center. Mazel, right off the bat, throws in a couple of nano swarms. No alarm bot in this one, just the turret, and that's to sort of prevent the advance towards the A site. And now he's gonna go all the way back towards Raptors, but none of this even really matters because the spike, well, it's not gone anywhere. All Enigma are doing right now are trying to find some information, maybe get a few contact plays, find a kill here and there, and then open up the map. It's gonna be Hikka. First point of contact over here, Crips. This could be big. Muzzle spots him out. He fades away. That is some security, and Right to Ace doesn't tag him up, but still, the wall is going to come through. They get some control, but Rexy has been found. This puts Hikka in a very awkward spot. The wall is strong. It's not going to die to the classics that easily, but that drone's going to spot him out, and he needs to retreat.
It's not really possible for him to retreat. He's gonna get picked off, but at least what this has done is that it's drawn out the rotation from Velocity towards the A site. Now they will go from under tube, hightailing it into the B site, and they won't find any resistance over here. So a plant is possible. Raw will make things even better, picking off Hellfighter as he tries to rotate inside. That's great. But I think they're aware about his position towards Cube, so that's why they will have a couple of players positioned. But they just walked past him.
What?
The other players of Enigma who are towards Snowman are the ones who are distracting him, which means Raw Fuel, if he times this correctly, he can get the perfect backstab, and he's got this. Nice headshot onto Deathmaker. The Soa's out there, trapped over here, but Right to Ace, he liberates some pressure from him. There's a lot more space available for Team Velocity right now, and Marzil's up here, getting the kill onto RVK in his space, bursting him down with the classic. Antidote trying to jiggle in between these two opponents. He somehow ice the 1v1s, and he's keeping this alive. The hope is still here, and we won't runs out of bullets. Antidote gets
I
it.
had to focus for a second.
Oh my god, now this is the antidote I've been missing. Clutching it out, the only person alive in a 1v3 somehow manages to do it, Crips. He was a legend back then, and he's a legend now. He's still got it. And it's like Jet always says, the old man, he's still got some bite. Although Antidote is not that old, but man is he experienced, and man does he put it to use.
Yeah. His bite is definitely stronger than his bark, but hey, sometimes that bark turns into a roar and shakes up your opponent like nothing else. Velocity reeling from that loss. They only have a couple of sheriffs. One on Deathmaker and one on Maza. That's pretty much it. Nobody else buying anything. Enigma, on the other hand, of course, their standard bonus weapons with the Spectres and the heavy shields. They're playing very passively. They know that Velocity have nothing to lose, so they will try to do something or the other. And that's why they're just being extremely passive. Enigma, after reaching the Rafters region, they stopped just before Pipes. They don't want to go ahead any further. In fact, they have a player all the way in attacking spawn, watching over mid. But Deathmaker still finds an opportunity, gets Enigma Hika down, and that's one crucial player down. With no barrier orb available, planting the spike is going to be much more difficult for them.
Yeah, and I mean, Raw Fury's found so much control towards B that they really didn't need to push up over there. It was actually just Deathmaker getting aggressive and finding that pick, so good on him, but it seems that they found some semblance of control over here. Rexy was low there, he could have died, but somehow he survives. And he put the Sage down low as well. Lepore down to around 20 points of life. That heat is slowly going to bring him back up, but he's going to be out of the fight for a little bit. And there you go, Raw Fuel's going to put him out of his misery. Right to Ace, not being forced off that position. Still alive, but he's spamming his classic right now, and he's going to get caught reloading. Raw Fuel, he's like a shark. Nice. He senses blood in the water, and he goes in for the kill. Oh, Deathmaker, okay. Okay, buddy, you managed to take down Raw Fuel. Can you do some more? Don't die to the turret. Alright, he didn't die to the turret. He died to Rexy. That's more acceptable.
No problem. Those were some really clean shots from the side of Velocity with their sheriffs. Both of them from Deathmaker, actually. But I must appreciate the timing of Raw Fuel. He senses one person reloading, gets a kill immediately, falls back to safety, knowing that the Viper toxin screen from RVK will protect him. So Enigma don't take too many losses. Still 3 Spectres available from them from the previous round. RVK purchases the Sheriff and Raw Fuel has the Vandal. I'm pretty sure that after he gets 1 kill, he's going to relinquish that Vandal to someone else and play on his Blade Storm or something, or maybe save it for the next round. But Deathmaker wants to take matters into his own hands. He's got the bigger weapons now, so he's obviously feeling a lot more confident. Recon out early, doesn't reveal anyone from Enigma, but they are aware that Deathmaker will peek him. Hicka, fully aware of that position, still doesn't win that duel. And yeah, you're right, that's the second time Deathmaker came out on top.
Yeah, and once again, I mean, they heard that. They knew he was there. They heard him dropping out from those ropes. And sure, Antidote's good for 1. He gets for board, but the trade was just instant from Hellfighter. And now RVK in a 1v4. Not saying he has pulled off clutches before, but against the side of Velocity, you're really going to be able to clutch out 1v4, RVK? Well, let's see. Got the screens up and ready. Could throw it down right to Ace. Out on a fact-finding mission with his drone. Some facts he finds, also some lead in his brain that he was not anticipating, courtesy of RVK. And Hellfighter's like, nah, nope, none of that. Goodbye, sayonara. B-main is all yours, RVK, if you want it. Mazel, that is a rare riff coming in from him. Not what was expected. He finds another. And now Deathmaker, he's been spotted out. RVK knows he's over here, but Deathmaker, just too good. This man saves them, but economic damage done.
Yeah, plenty of economic damage done. Velocity are lucky that this was a buy round for them where, you know, Enigma don't have too much weaponry to work with. The first few engagements were them up against a bunch of Spectres. I could have imagined this round going towards Enigma as well, especially when Marzel was not able to connect their shots. I really thought that would be the end, but they somehow recovered it. And now Marzel's got the lockdown. Deathmaker's got the Blade Storm. Even with Velocity reeling from a little bit of economic damage, they can still bounce back. So can Enigma. Raw Fuel's the one with the Blade Storm this time around. And in the first 3 rounds up until now, Enigma, all they have done is split towards A and B. They try to hold defaults and they try to just make sure they get the first pick onto aggressing VLT members. But Enigma have never pushed out of mid. Velocity, on the other hand, they have shown some aggression towards mid, but this time Deathmaker, he's not playing aggressively towards pipes. He's all the way back inside, gets a nice kill, no trades. That's the man advantage they were looking for. The ball's in Enigma's court now.
Yeah, and Enigma, they really to start working that mid area. Now you're going to see RVK trying to find some real estate over there, maybe just a pick if possible, but he doesn't see anything. Got the poison orb, and that actually does bait out some information for him. He knows that there's one player playing towards mid, but that doesn't do all that much for him when he's in a 4v5. He needs a little bit more than that. So instead, they're going to group up A and go for the hit. But unfortunately for them, the Killjoy utility is right on this side.
Yeah, and even though Deathmaker is alone over here, it's completely fine. He's the jet. As soon as someone shows us space, he can dash back to safety, get out of the lockdown. In fact, there is a counter lockdown available with no Hunter's Fury available. Okay, one up for Frax, and he's delivering. Doesn't even get detained. Someone from the attacking Killjoy does get detained, but Velocity Deathmaker. How can you feel the shots when all you're doing is feeling pain?
Oh no!
And this is pain at its highest.
Ah, boy, that's some top tier BM right there. Right to ace leaving the kill for Mazel. Ah,
I
painful
would have
stuff.
imagined they let Deathmaker have this to complete his ace, but I guess
Eh.
at this point, a win's a win for them.
Okay, to be perfectly honest, Deathmaker is very humble. So he probably be like, no, guys, it's okay. You guys get the 4K. I'm happy with the 4K, guys. Just win the round. I imagine that's the kind of player Deathmaker is. Now, I mean, that's what I've heard. That's how I imagine he is. I don't know if that's true, but it would be really fitting because it's not very often you see a man of this caliber,
Just
be
straight up.
extremely cocky.
No,
I mean, there are
man just
people.
straight up left click the entire team. Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
Enigma had some audacity to dry peek him, but you don't often win so many 1v1s back to back. This time, Enigma, they're not going for any of those B and A splits. They don't have much to work with, so they're all just gonna put their eggs in one basket and it's labeled A. RVK tried to make some presence happen on the mid region, but he's got taken down. That's completely fine because RVK was not needed in the stake anyway. He's put a toxic screen towards B, hoping to sell a fake, but of course, Velocity don't buy it.
Classic coming off from Deathmaker. Ah,
Oh,
insult
so
to injury.
he's got kills with the rifle, the blade storm, and now the classic. What
He's
next?
just going on a world tour. He's gonna probably try and find a way to get a kill with the Stinger at some point.
Well, plain escalation out here, huh?
Absolutely. You start off with the Frenzy, you move on to the Stinger, and the final kill, you must get with your knife.
Oh, they've already got one kill with the knife. Not that
Oh,
one
yeah, they
themselves,
have,
but the other
actually.
ones. Either way, I like how RVK put down his toxin screen towards B last time and they went A. It didn't do too much to sell the fake, but now with this failed fake in the previous round, hopefully Enigma can set themselves up for some 200 IQ moves. RVK still hasn't put down his toxin screen, which kind of indicates that Team Enigma are not really sure of where they want to go. Sure, the spike is just outside of A and 4 people are huddled up over there, but the Viper is still present on B, looking for a push from Deathmaker, who has in fact changed up his positions. He was decimating the opponent on the A side last time. Now he's on B, and he's got the perfect angle on VK. That one spot doesn't get covered by the Toxin screen, and that's what Deathmaker uses to punish the Viper. Now, without a Viper, assaulting the A side is going to be extremely difficult. How do you cover up all the lines of sight?
I mean, you simply can't. In Hellfighter, he's just gonna have a field day. Flaking heads left, right, and center. Rockfield's the first lamb to the slaughter. Antidote is the second. Ika's like, alright, you know what? The wolves are at the door. I could deal with one of them, but not too many. As he gets cleaned up, and now it's only Rexy who is okay, good for one. Takes over Bo, but 35 HP, 1v3. Surely, Rexy, your glory days are behind you. Come on. I mean, I imagine he's gonna get a kill, maybe two, but no such luck. Mazel's like,
30.
you know what? That's enough. Yeah, just one kill.
Yeah.
That's all you get.
Yeah, 35 HP with 35 seconds. Spike drop towards under heaven. I mean, under rafters. There's not much that he could have done. In fact, that barrier orb was put up in such a way that it covers him from all the regions of rafters and maybe even screens, but it doesn't cover you when your enemy's already at belt. That's the level of precaution that Velocity was operating at. Even though they know exactly where Rexy is and where the spike is, they still had one player go back to its belt just to make sure that Rexy does not have an option of falling back from A and going to its B. They take all the precautions, and Deathmaker, he takes no prisoners.
Yep, only heads. That's all he takes. And Raw Fuel's the first head he claimed. Hick has the second one. Rexy gets one in turn, but Hellfighter's like, nah, you don't get to do my friend dirty and get away with it. I'm here to avenge him. And now RVK gets spotted alone. I mean, it's been a bit of a rough start for him. Not doing all that well on the Viper. He's surrounded on all sides. Does tag Hellfighter for 50, but yeah, that's about it. That's all he can do.
Well, at
Five
least
to two
Enigma
now in favor
will...
of Velocity.
Yeah, it's 5-2, but at least Enigma will have a buy right now, and they've got three very important ultimates. They've got the Hunter's Fury and Rexy, Viper Spit on RVK, and Hika has the Resurrection. I imagine what Enigma can do in this round, if they don't go for a default split, if they want to go for a full-blown execute, they can probably use the Hunter's Fury to clear out all the common spaces and all the common angles on any one of these sites, and then have RVK deploy the Viper Spit the moment they get inside. They don't need to worry about the lockdown because Marzel doesn't have it, so Rexy has the freedom of using the Hunter's Fury right at the start of the round and finding a kill or two.
Yeah, but that is big.
Yeah, but instead of doing any of that, Enigma are just going for a default split. They're waiting for Velocity to make the first move, which Velocity has made quite a lot of times up until now. So it makes sense that Enigma hold on. But how much will they hold? A minute is about to pass. And
Yep.
Velocity have no information. No, Velocity don't need information. Enigma have no information at this point. And how much will they show over here? How much patience do they have? And when did they finally start to make a move? If they run out of time, it will be a bit too sweaty to get inside the site with very little wiggle room.
I actually think that drone was big. I think it's one of 3 players. They saw DM, they saw right to Ace as well as Vapor. So you can see the rotation starting to come in, but Enigma, oh no, it just landed the slaughter. Alarm bot spots are 1. Mars having a field day taking out 2. Rexy's there for the trade, but it's too little too late. The rotations have come in. Vapor is already towards the mid, and the spike being dropped. Antidote gets the trade though. Fades away back to safety, makes it a 2v3 for his team, but the numbers not in their favor, and that reload sound tells them everything they need to know.
So at this point, Velocity can defend B just using Hellfighter. He doesn't even need to show up. In case they start planting over here, Hellfighter can probably go for a cheeky frag onto the planter, and there's not much time left, right? So if he just puts on a snake bite, he might even be able to deny the plant. But that's it. They have to fall back. It's either that or plant in the boxes of the site, and they can do nothing. Hellfighter with just the use of 1 snake bite, he wins the round. No bloodshed.
Yep.
Well, maybe some as the round comes to a close, but this is just a consolation frag for Rofuel at this point.
Yeah, I love to see Mahatma Gandhi's teachings being followed out of game and in game. Well, he did die in the end, but he did his job, and he did it without doing a single point of damage.
Speaking of damage, Ace doesn't have his Hunter's Fury anymore. He had to use it just so that he could deny a little bit of entry to Enigma using the mid to B position. That's pretty much it. But
okay, Rofuel.
The good part is, even though Ace's Hunter's Fury is absent, Antidote doesn't have his lockdown yet, so he doesn't need to worry about being countered. But Velocity have 4 ults, Enigma have 3. It's about time they use them.
Absolutely, and there you go. This is the strong hit we were looking for. This time around, Enigma, instead of being reactive and patient, they're going to take the initiative. They're going to go up towards B main. Now, that drone doesn't really get them all that much information, but right to Ace's drone does. And this delay is going to put Enigma in a bit of a rough spot. Now they need to fight their way out of this very awkward position. There are 2 people on the backstab, 3 preventing them from a plant from coming in. And it's all down to Antidote. Well, okay, that alarm bot spot. So now he peeks on the back of the alarm bot. Who does that? I mean, that was an amazing play from Antidote, don't get me wrong, but DM, just the better aimer there. Shoots him in the head.
And now with the bodyguard of the backstab, Antidote gone, they are vulnerable from every position. At least Rofuel is hitting all his shots towards the B main region and liberating the site so that they can go for the plant. But can they take post-plant positions considering they're about to get wrapped from both the sides? They've only spotted out 1 player towards B main. They don't know that there's 2 present over there. And as a result, they push down towards Snowman so that they don't have to get pinched by both the sides. By doing this, they don't have to worry about the people coming in from the main area. Vibhor tanking the Hunter's Fury, gets the half defuse. But after this, how do they stop him from defusing?
They can't.
TEAMXO, he's gonna stand watch, and Vibhor goes for the stick.
Enigma, I mean, you got the kills, but at what cost? The round is not yours.
I like the fact that they pushed out towards Snowman and, you know, the B main region as well, towards Oranges. If they did not do that, they would have been stuck between the yellow boxes. You know, you have a pinch coming in from behind, you have the rest of Velocity trying to come in from the regular angles, you know, the main retake angles. So you would have been pinched towards the yellow box. So at least they elevated the pressure. They took control of one of those areas by liberating the site. And then they only need to worry about the backstab, which they did. But what they did not consider is that Vibhor is a man of many talents, and he's very brave. He tanks the Hunter's Fury first beam, gets the half defuse, continues diffusing after the barrier orb is dealt with. And his teammate Deathmaker, he's the best bodyguard that you can get. He's got Vibhor under his protection, under his wing, and nobody can harm a hair on his head.
Oh, yeah. Great stuff from Vibhor there. I mean, just once again, going on to show there is a way to solve things without violence, as he claims another round.
Yeah,
I mean, there's been so many rounds where Velocity have just said no to fights and either, you know, take the clock down or stuck the defuse. And yeah, I mean, just goes on to show that Velocity, they have their eyes on the prize, you know, objective-based gaming. Nobody does it better.
But speaking of objectives, these guys have had their ultimates ready for 2 rounds now. 2 rounds with Velocity having 4 ults, Enigma having 3 ults, and none of them use even one of them.
Yeah, that, I mean, I can understand why Velocity is not using them, but for Enigma, it makes no sense. I mean, Enigma really need to put up a couple of rounds together. I can imagine why Velocity are holding them up. They're like, okay, you know what? We're probably going to be a bit more reactive with our ults until we really need to pop them.
Yeah.
So, that makes sense. But now I believe they might pop the Viper split, and they do it on A.
Yeah,
but you
they
would
do
think.
it on A. The only L that was popped in the recent history was Rexy's Hunter's Fury, and didn't do too much for them anyway.
Yeah,
But now with Viper Split on A, they get heavily discouraged. What do they do now? Do they go towards B? Do they commit? They've already been spotted by Deathmaker. They know he's on top, but do they peek him? Oh, even with the peek, Antidote was not aware about that information. So clearly a little lapse in communication, maybe? This is the second time Deathmaker is able to get a kill from this very position. Last time it was on RPK, this time on Antidote.
oh yeah.
And this is the second time he's won a duel against Antidote. Last time he won it on the backstab. Rafu ready to peek him. RBK ready to swing along with him. So this will be a double swing. Deathmaker still surviving, still getting all the frags. How is he allowed to get away with murder in such cold blood?
What is
Finally,
happening?
Hiccup
Hello?
deals with them and puts his killing spree to an end. But this resurrection, it's a bait. Vibhor falls for it. And that's the advantage that they were looking for. They need to press it. They need to go for it. Lockdown committed. This should clear out the oranges area, but Hiccup cannot plant just yet. There's even a slow orb over there, so he takes way too much more damage than he should have.
He's gonna get detained. Hika's gonna be detained over here, and there you go. Well, Rafuel is gonna make the most out of a bad situation, get the kill on Marzel, but a 2v4 doesn't really look like it's gonna be Enigma's round. Hellfighter, he gets 1 kill on the flank, and it's all down to right to ace. No shock darts. He's gonna have to use, well, his bullets, but the Sage Wall gonna tank up all that damage and prevent him from getting that wall bang. So he was looking
Almost
for-
no utility available on any of these players. So it's
Yep.
just gonna be aim duels.
Yep, it's time to see how good they can click heads. After all, that's what it's gonna come down to. In a 2v3, you better know how to click heads properly, because otherwise you're not winning this one. Well, Hellfighter gets scammed as he was anticipating a double peek there, but only one person peeks him and he's like, Wadu. But
Wadu.
yeah, 7-3 now, and it doesn't seem like Velocity are even breaking a sweat. Sure, they lost that last round, but they forced out so many ultimates.
Yeah. Not just ultimates. Look at the economy of Team Enigma. They are just able to afford weapons in this round. And that is after Velocity was able to win 7 rounds in a row. Enigma won the first 2 rounds, the pistol and the consequent round. After that, it's been the Velocity show. And when you have so many rounds in a row, you will kind of force Enigma on a little bit of a loss bonus. If Enigma lose this round, they have some weapons in the next round, but not all of it. Velocity, on the other hand, have the opportunity to completely reset them. So
Yeah.
let's see if that happens.
I mean, right to ace as well. I just want to point out that he's been so on point with those recon darts. He's been deliberately changing up the timings of when he throws it out. So it always ends up getting him some sort of information. This time around, he spotted out Hika. The round before this, or the one before that, he spotted out 2 players towards A. And all of this early information, it really helps the side of Velocity just adapt to whatever Enigma are doing and be a bit more robust on their defense. And it's actually forcing Enigma out of their comfort zone. Now they're going in for those executes. Now they're going in with an iron fist and being like, all right, this is what we're going to do. Try and stop us. Well, last time around, it was Deathmaker from the corner. From a
Now there's
position
no
where he
one.
just... Yeah, now there's no one. The site is empty. It is free. And, oh no, right? Who walked into it? Oh, it was the Maker of Death who gets detained over here.
He's a
Well-
little too excited, walked in up just a second earlier.
30 seconds
But still, no plant yet. They didn't capitalize on the lockdown.
Yeah, and okay, well, Marcelis finds raw fuel, but Antidote trades him out. Now the plant is going to come through. Deathmaker thinking about
Spike
peeking it,
planted.
but can't. And Rexy tucked into a corner. He cannot leave this place. He tries to go for it. Oh, he capitalizes. Great stuff coming out for him. The teamwork from Enigma coming in clutch. Then Rexy, because he survived, he's able to find the pick on the board. He's going to get a second one on right to ace. Oh boy, Enigma, you beauty. Hellfighter now in a 1v2, trying to make work of the last 2 Enigma players, but he doesn't know where they are. And Hika just went in for the big rotate. So now he's gonna be with RVK, and RVK, well, he says, Hika, thanks for the moral support, buddy, but didn't really need much more than that.
Oh, forget about moral support. The support that RVK provided to Rexy, absolutely beautiful. He's a dead man right there. Deathmaker's got him in his sights. RVK, he's up on belt, and without his backup, Rexy would have 100% died. But imagine the impact that creates. RVK gets Deathmaker. That's no pressure from rafters. Rexy jumps around that box, climbs up the zipline tower, and finds two people completely unaware. One moment of hesitation. That's all it takes from Deathmaker. He didn't push Rexy when he had the chance. He thought he's going to be patient, more disciplined. And that one moment of hesitation is what leads to Enigma winning out yet another round. And now they don't have to face the massive economic reset anymore. It's Velocity who have cheaper weapons.
Yep, Bulldogs, Guardians, Spectres. Well, you name it, they have it. Every single weapon that says, I cannot afford the Phantom or the Vandal. And it's sitting in the arsenal right now. Rofuel picking up the Operator, though. That is grand. Deathmaker spots out Hika. Gets spotted out as well. He's like, alright, that's enough information for me. I'm just going to back off and be patient. But once again, that information really does nothing for them. So Velocity gonna have to be a bit more proactive with their utility, and that's what they do. They wall up B lane 50 seconds in the round. That's actually gonna buy them a lot of time.
Floki, I'm really nervous right now. Is this gonna be another mid plus B execute from Enigma?
I think
Historically, it's not really worked quite a lot, and they're trying to sneak outside of the screen where right to ace is prepared for them. Of course, the double swing does result in their deaths, but then Vibor and Hellfighter come right through. There's only Antidote over here who can make a difference, and he's stuck inside kitchen. He's found Hellfighter. Vibor ready to trade him out. It's just Rofuel left. Spike left deep inside enemy territory, and he's gonna have to dig it out with only 19 seconds left.
Oh, wow,
Deathmaker turning into a helicopter over there. Just stylish frags. You're right. Just flexing over the opponent Jet right there. And Deathmaker right now has 19 frags. It's just the first half, and he's already about to hit the 20 bomb.
Yeah, I mean, Deathmaker is absolutely insane. I feel like, you know, viewers have heard it a number of times, but I don't think they're ever going to get tired of listening to it. Neither are we going to get tired of saying it, because this man just puts on a clinic every time he's on the server, right? Just all the frags that he gets, always just so stylish. And yeah, if there's Deathmaker on the server, well, Velocity, I mean, you know, they can never really count themselves out of the fight. We'll see, though, if they can put up that same fight on offense as they did on defense. The side switch comes through, but I imagine they should be able to put up a good one.
Okay. A risky mid plus B strat. Not even mid plus B, it's just mid 2B directly from under tube. Antidote good for the defense. But he lost most of his HP trying to go through that Nano Swamp, but they've already stuck in through the Tube's region. Marzel finally deals with the Guardian over here as Antidote and Rexy both get taken down, but Rofuel's still trying to be sneaky around that barrier up. He gets tagged, survives. He's still keen on fighting them. He's so good on the ghost. Gets a double. Deathmaker left ringing from that. He's got only 17 HP left. He snuck into the ace site, but of course the HP advantage now lies with Team Enigma. How do they make this one happen? The only person who could save them is probably Hellfighter up on high ground, but he's dropped down, and now Hika knows exactly where his position is. Deathmaker, what? On 17 HP, he's brave enough to peek. He's even tagged him. And he's ready to engage again. Both of them trying to swing Hika right here.
Where's RVK? Where's RVK?
Now here he is. He's trying to go for the diffuse already. He can easily get the half diffuse. Oh, he's
gonna
going for the
stick
full thing. No way!
He did it! Oh, Enigma, they were in the pistol.
This is the tit for tat. This is what Velocity did twice in the first round. Once they were able to deny the plant using the snake bite, and the next time Vibor was able to stick it using the barrier rob, and now Enigma do the same with RVK, just pressing for, not letting go. Pros don't fake. And Hika provided them with all the information they needed. Hika saw them both trying to swing him, double peek him. They knew that Hika, he drew out the rotation of Velocity towards screens, way outside of screens actually, not just towards it. And Hellfighter's like, ooh, I'm gonna do it.
Yep. And now, once again, Velocity, they're gonna have to resort to a couple of sheriffs. A couple of classics to the people who can't afford sheriffs. And Enigma, even though they all died, they've got money for the Spectres. RVK puts it to work. Only gets one, though. Probably looking for more, and even Hika misses the spray, so a bit of a whiff coming here. Maybe an opportunity for VLT, and okay, with Deathmaker on the Spectre, there's definitely a chance now. Can he find some picks, though? That's the question. The Viper Wall is good, but they're gonna have to wait for the Toxins to come back up online. Now they can try and make their move. Narrowly dodges the shock dart there. But a 4v4...
Yeah, it is a 4v4, but the rotation's already here. Enigma, they have 3 at the place defending the B site, and they're just dumping in all the utility to make sure that Velocity can't plant the spike in time.
Right here.
Oh, raw fuel. He stopped holding mid. There is an alarm bot there, though. But it's in tube. It's not watching under kitchen. He's actually following. This could be big. If right to ace
30
ends
seconds
up spotting
left.
out raw fuel. Oh, raw fuel.
Yeah.
Oh my god. He turns around in the nick of time and spots him out. But Enigma might actually get baited by this. They're actually going back towards the A side. They think it's going to be an 8A coming in, but no. VLT are still making their way towards B. There's an alarm bot inside tube. The time is just not in their favor. I mean, at this point, they should just look to die so they can at least get money for the next round, and that's what they're hoping for. Hiccup just wildly spraying through that screen, ends up finding the planter, and there you go. A team ace for the side of Enigma. 4 players surviving. Spectres being taken into the next round. Economic damage mitigated.
Well, finally, Velocity will have what they need. They got the weapons, but they've let go of their advantage to some extent. Enigma will still be on the bonus, so it's completely fine. But I have to admire it. I have to admire that Velocity are taking the risky approach over here, trying to work off of under tube so many times and making sure that B Orange is an area that they find success in. Historically, whenever they've tried this strategy against, let's say, someone like Louvre, it did not work. We saw it last week in TC Showdown.
Hey,
Maybe
it's
against
Louvre,
Enigma.
not Louvre. It's Louvre. It's Louvre. You have to be
Forgive me,
French.
Forgive my French, but over here, I'm just trying to point out some storylines over here and trying to look for some intricacies that Velocity have been going through over the last couple of weeks. Of course, their journey as a team also matters quite a lot, and whatever they learn by facing stronger opponents is something that they deploy. And while they were in the TC Showdown, the mid-orange strategy didn't work for them that much. But over here, they've been able to make it work once. Let's see if they can find success again. This time, using all the utility towards A. They already have cleared out most of this area. The only person who stands over here is Rofuel, and he's also going to fall back. Enigma would rather give up this side rather than contest it. But the moment I say that, Antidote and the remaining people are trying to contest it once more. 2 from Raptors. This could be big.
Oh my
Spike
god,
goes
that
down.
down.
The shock dart's landing directly on top of Vibor, but luckily the second shock dart is late, so Vibor survives that one. Still a 3v4.
Yep, so much damage, but no cigar just yet until Rexy finds Mazel. PM low, Vibor heating back up. Vibor can't survive, runs out of bullets. Hika cleans him up. This could be the opening they're looking for. 3v3 now, and Deathmaker's not very healthy. He's trying to make sure that they're not able to tag the spike, and my god, look at these angles from VLT. This is just so annoying. How do you deal with this? You can't. 3 players all looking at the same area from different positions. You can't isolate these fights. It's too little too late. Hika is in a 1v3. The moment is past.
The best that he can do is go for the save. And he doesn't even have the barrier up, which means he could never have gone for the defuse.
Oh, man. That, I mean, after Rexy manages to pull off some sort of comeback like that, and then, you know, you're just in this position where you can't clean them out, just feels so bad. I mean, how do they isolate those fights, right? They probably need to get on top of Nest and maybe on top of 410, and then maybe they can take those fights, but there's just not enough time to think about this stuff when you're in such a high pressure situation. I mean, there was like, what, 20, maybe 15 seconds remaining on the clock, and they had to stick the defuse?
Yeah,
What's happening?
I think I can say the same for Team Velocity as well, right? Time was running out for them and they had to go for the plant. They did it while the shock darts were raining in on Vibor. He tanked all that damage. He almost died right there. The recon dart reveals him. A shot from the operator through the metal, and that almost kills him. But at least now they know that there is an operator and it's in tubes. And it's been pushed back now. So where will the operator go next? Most likely towards either kitchen or towards speed.
Yep. Thank goodness there's a Sage. He'll at least have some semblance of life. He can maybe tank one more Vandal shot before he goes down. That's all he really needs. Hellfighter. holding mid in the meantime, not really allowing the side of Enigma to get a bit too aggressive and get a flank going. So VLT, they haven't really found map control, but they haven't given over to the side of Enigma either.
They have a decent amount of information, if not map control. We have Marzel trying to sneak in towards the A side and just trying to sell a fake. Meanwhile, the remaining of his teammates, they're going towards the B side. And what Enigma is doing is they're mostly hovering towards mid. Because TEAMXO showed presence over there first, they're very paranoid that nobody has snuck through this area. That's why they're committing so many resources to make sure that B orange is clear. Meanwhile, Velocity on the back of this toxin screen, they're going to go for this plant. The utility's been boiled out as well, so nothing can harm Hellfighter right now. No counter duty can deny the plant, and it goes through. And now Marzel's still holding mid, which means he can probably stop a couple of players to going in from under tube. He wants to check it, but Marzel will of course deal with him. Now they have to deal with the two-pronged assault, and I'm not sure if Enigma can take this.
Yeah, with the operator not really able to find any angles to work with Rofu, he's posed in a risky position, but boy does he deliver. Oh, he delivers again, he gets the second one on Deathmaker. Marzel from the other side though, you have to watch on the kitchen in the meantime, and no, there's the trap. It springs right to Ace Vibhor. Just looking for that perfect opportunity, and when they see Rofu looking away, they shoot him in the head. Great stuff by Velocity, 10th round on board for them. Enigma, it's time to go for the save. Not enough money to put up another round.
Credit where credit is due. Marzel's flank was absolutely beautiful over here. Not only does he catch a couple of players while moving in, he just puts so much mental pressure on Enigma while trying to go for that retake. Consider this, Enigma already have their hands full dealing with yellow. When they have to defend their backs as well, they first have to clear out that angle and then make sure that their angles are safe. They have no ground left to fight and no place is safe when that pinch comes through. This time, Velocity just racking up the kill feed, clicking heads, winning fights. It's expected that they do so because Enigma don't have a weapon. So Rexy's positioning himself over here, hoping to get a cheeky frag onto the planter. Meanwhile, Rawfuel once again channeling his inner helicopter, flying above the skies and raining death below. And he peeks again, this time winning the duel against Deathmaker too. They're on eco, and they have the man advantage now. Rawfuel just so good over here. 1v2 for Ace, and he's got the Hunter's Fury, but he's been tagged already. What does he do now?
Oh man, I mean, right to Ace. He's known as right to clutch, but this might be a bit of a tall order for him. Two players, they still haven't found weapons though, Crips. This could... Oh no, never mind, it is no problem at all. Scratch that, I wasn't gonna say that. Nope, there was no problem at all. Antidote, he always had it in the bag. And there you go, 10-7. And like I said, it's not the one straw that broke the camel's back, it's the million others underneath it.
Yeah, they're not even straws anymore. They're like needles pricking you. Kind of like acupuncture, but not so pleasurable.
Yeah, I never understand what kind of people go for acupuncture. I can't imagine it being pleasurable at all. Like, they stick needles in your nerves and that's supposed to make you feel good. How does that even work?
Better than having Rawfuel stick knives in your face, though.
That I can agree with. Okay.
Another one, just so that they can stop Velocity from moving towards under tube, and they're not going there. In fact, they're trying to go towards screens now.
No, Rexy, don't fight that angle. Yeah, okay.
There is too much resistance over here anyway, so I don't see this succeeding. At least the spike is still all the way back, so even if this assault fails, at least not all is lost. Rexy going for the drone. Risky move, but there is his Sage protecting him. Meanwhile, Antidote trying to pinch him from behind. There could be people who stop him, and that person is Vibhor. But hey, it's fine. They find one kill. I guess A side is mostly empty except for Rawfuel over here, and there's no way that you can deal with him. He's not watching the correct angle, so maybe if Vibhor is sneaky enough, he can get the kill onto Rawfuel, but even after that, the chances of him going for the full plant is very low.
Mission
Plus,
Impossible
Rawfuel's not
style.
even... Yeah.
Shift walking on the ropes. Dan, 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 dan. He gets Rawfuel and the operator.
Oh, I'm starting to get nervous. He's got the resurrection as well. No time though, so that's the only thing working for
Oh, okay. Well, if this is Mission Impossible, then Vibhor is Storm Cruise, and he's about to make this possible. Is it actually going to happen? No.
Behind. So, if he goes for the plant on top, he can get spammed. I think he's only looking for kills. He knows he can't go for the plant. There's people all around him. He's going for the plant in a very weird spot towards screens. And
oh, he doesn't even get it. Yeah.
It's fine. He was never supposed to get it in the first place. And again, this was an eco round from Team Velocity. Considering they got 3 kills, that's pretty impressive, I would say.
Yep. I mean, if nothing, Vibhor totally earned a lot of style points, with that rope play.
Totally.
Come
Rafuel
on.
never saw that coming.
Yeah. I mean, that has to be so frustrating, right? Imagine you're Rafiel and you're thinking to yourself, surely there's no way or no, there's another player on Belt, right? Or there's another player towards Nest, right? They have to come in from here. But no, they don't. And that's Vibhor for you. That's what you have to deal with.
In
Very
all
annoying.
fairness, Rafuel, he was holding the angle correctly. Only a
Yeah, he was.
madman would take the risk of going through a zip line that silently, especially when you're all alone and defenders could be anywhere, right? So I don't blame him.
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, Vibhor is a very rational person. He does not seem like the kind of guy who does crazy stuff. So he probably clicked tab, saw, oh, yeah, Vibhor's on there. I don't think he's going to go on the ropes. I don't think he's in Nest already.
Speaking
And
of
he would have
crazy
been
stuff,
right 99% of the time. But this one time, not so much.
Yeah, speaking of crazy stuff, Rafuel pushes all the way outside of A. Now they know that Velocity has no choice but to come B. Enigma prepared for this. They have all the information they need. But still, rotations are not coming through in the off chance that someone from Velocity shows presence on mid. And that is what's happening. Marzil making noise over here, keeping both Rexy and Hikka stationed over here, rooted over here. They're not able to rotate towards B simply because there is presence. Now Hikka finally starts to move in that direction, but he's inside halls. Again, not a position from where he can defend B that easily. And Deathmaker's about to go in. The turret will spot him out, so that's not a problem. But Rafuel has snuck past, and the turret doesn't spot Rafuel. Oh my god, now it does, I think. But I don't think Velocity are prepared for this backstab coming in from Rafuel. There's a Hunter's Fury and another one. Both the swords trying to hit each other with a laser beam. An anime battle right here. Even both the lockdowns have been initiated. So there's way too many ultimates.
What? RVK, hello?
RVK is killing everyone. How on earth is he able to get so many frags with so much chaos all around? Deathmaker needs to stop this defuse, but I don't think he can go for the peak. They both let go of it, and there's RVK with the S. Oh my god,
wow.
the ace is just so good from RVK.
And he got it on the Champions Vandal. Come on, that's like the best.
Brimstone congratulating him in the sky. I have to say, there were so many things going correctly for Enigma over here. Rafuel pushing out A, completely making Enigma aware of the fact that this will 100% be a B hit. Rafuel even went in for that backstab, but surprisingly, it's not him that does all the heavy lifting. It is, in fact, RVK, and the man just set the whole playground on fire.
Yeah, he sure did. I mean, in those 15 seconds, I really wondered, how am I supposed to do my job as a caster when there's so much stuff going around?
I know,
Firstly, right to Ace and Rexy exchanging ultimates. I believe 2 lockdowns going down at the same time. Let me just press tab to double check that. Yep, 2 lockdowns went down at the same time. A resurrection in the middle of all that. RVK in the meantime getting 4 kills. Someone going undetected on a Killjoy turret. There's just... Yeah, usually it's pretty easy to handle Valorant, but then these sorts of situations come up and you're like, man, I wish I had like a top-down view of this game.
Yeah, and honestly, both the teams also saved up all these ultimates for this very round. 2 lockdowns popped, 2 Hunter's Furies, even a resurrection comes through. So technically, while RVK did get the ace, you have to consider that the round was a 1v6 of sorts, not a 1v5.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's what RVK did. He got 5 kills. Can't call it an ace per se because there were 6 people on the enemy team, but not gonna seal its thunder over here. 10-9, Enigma on the verge of equalizing the score. You have Rafuel once again positioned towards a screen just over top. Hikka watching pipes. So while Hikka continues to stay in this direction, Rafuel is making sure that nobody peeks him from belt. So that's the crossfire built, but it has since been pushed off because Hikka forced to fall back. Either way, that doesn't really affect them now. They've only spotted 1 player of Team Velocity towards the A side. The others on B still making their presence known.
Yeah, okay. Well, RVK... Deathmaker. Oh, okay. Oh, no. Okay, I accept the couple of tags. I accept even the next shot that he hit, but not that shot dart. No, VAC. Wrong game, but VAC.
RVK got done dirty over there. He popped the Viper Spit the moment he heard the ultimate orb being captured. What did that result in? Absolutely nothing. In fact, it caused a man disadvantage for Enigma instead of anything. But Antidote out in the open, this is a very risky position. He's got backup of his fellow Soa, but Antidote just popping heads. Rexy also helping him out. It's still a 3v2. Velocity on the back foot. They've got very little time left, and they need to go for the plant with all 3 members of Enigma ready to defend. And of course, Rofuel doesn't need an extra bullet.
Yep. Ammo is precious, conserve it. And
yeah, but highlight clips, you need all of those. You need as many of those as you can get.
Yeah, only 3 tenets of the sniper. Be polite, be efficient, and have a plan to kill everyone you meet. And
Did you seriously just go Team Fortress 2 over here?
I was hoping you didn't catch that.
I did.
That would be a secret reference only to people who played that game in the chat who understand it. There'd be like one guy probably laughing right now, and this was for him, but
that was
hey,
me.
You got it. Yeah, that was you. Yeah, but well, VLT, they lost that round. I mean, it was the buy round that they shouldn't have. They were looking for some momentum, but they didn't find it. This time around, Enigma, a lot more proactive, and it's starting to help them out against VLT, right? Because during the start of the game, they were super reactive. Even on the attacking side, they were like, we're going to wait, we're going to chill, and... oh no, Rofuel, this... No.
What?
I just didn't want him to be in that position. That was so risky. I'm just happy he survived over there. But Antidote finds one, RVK finds another. Rofuel gets stacked a little bit, but the Viper Spit goes through. This round is actually very doable for VLT. They just need to play inside the pit. It is risky, but it is doable. But Rofuel punishes them for venturing out. He's even going to find Hellfighter. That is not what Hellfighter was expecting. But Rofuel was.
He's got the resurrection, but no place to revive. That would be a wasted resurrection, and Enigma have taken the lead. Imagine Velocity winning 7 rounds in a row in the first half, finishing the half 8-4 in the lead, and now Enigma on a defense have only conceded 2 rounds to Velocity.
Yep. And it doesn't seem like they're going to be stopping anytime soon, because Enigma, they've got the economy for days, you know. I mean, it's not like it matters at this point in the game. I mean, it does matter, but, you know, just in case, if things were to go south, they would have money in the bank to buy up a couple of weapons. Rofuel even has the knives at the ready, so if he felt like it, he could sacrifice his operator, instead throw over a Phantom to his teammates, play on the knives himself. For VLT, though, no such luck. I mean, if they lose this round, they are donezo.
Yeah.
Have to be next map for them.
Exactly. I mean, if they lose this round, then that's not only Enigma on map point, but it's also them on an eco. And this is Velocity's map pick, so risk is extremely high. But Enigma this time around changing things up. They take the initiative. They pick up fight towards mid. They have Rofuel picking out of tubes. 2 more people actually coming out of mid. And while I'm saying that, Marzil gets picked off towards the A side. Of course, it's not of consequence because VALOR has the resurrection. But still, look at how much they've baited out of Velocity now. Without the barrier orb, planting on A can be extremely difficult.
Yep, this is a tall order, and just to make matters worse, Antidote set up on the side, so it's not going to be easy for them to even walk in. Those nanoswarms are just positioned to delay things.
Plus the lockdown.
Yep, plus the lockdown, plus the resurrection on Enigma. And yeah, if Rofuel wants to make a montage, he's got the ult ready as well. So there you go, VLT once again being forced out of A. But I mean, no, this is not all that bad, because if you look over to the side of Enigma, they really haven't found map control elsewhere. They haven't pinched them across the map, so this is still very doable. And now Enigma are going to start coming in for the rotations, but it might be a bit too late. Antidote's going to end up falling here. Hikka just wants to get the hell out of dodge, and Swipe Plant is going to go down regardless, so that lockdown in the end doesn't achieve all that much. But Rexy delays the plant with the shock dart. Deathmaker though lines up too, and oh my god, with board he's going to be tanking that snake bite to get the plant down. Goes solo, but Deathmaker, he is just fragging out of his mind right now. Rofuel forced to activate the knife mode, just looking to make a highlight read. Is he going to find it? No, it's Deathmaker. He's going to be the one posting on Instagram today, not Rofuel.
Oh, what a sweaty round. It came down to the wire. I really thought that Velocity lost this one the moment the spike plant was denied. The shock darts from Rexy were amazing. And of course, this round was supposed to be very close. The initial lockdown which Android put up delayed Team Velocity so much. They had barely seconds left to go for the plant. So when Rexy got that shock dart kill, I thought this round was done and dusted right there. Vibhor though, man's got feet made of fire. He tanks the whole snake bite and just goes for the plant. And this is not the first time he's tanked snake bites. He's done it on the first half as well when he went in for a diffuse like that, and he does it again.
Oh yeah. Not very afraid of snakes, that man.
Not at all.
Yeah, but now things get interesting, right? Because VLT picked up that round. Their economy, it isn't looking all that good, but it doesn't really matter. As long as they get the 12th one on board, it's not going to make that much of a difference. Hikka gets spotted out, doesn't get tagged, survives. And that's what's more important. With all these players still up, now you can see Enigma being a bit more proactive across the map. But once again, it might be too late. RVK is going to find all that control towards B main. So much information, but it's going to matter. VLT still haven't pushed scripts. This could actually end up being big. Now they know everyone from the side of Velocity. They know exactly where they are. An antidote, well, he's going to find Deathwing to start things off. The trade comes through from Marzel, but Rexy and Rockfield are quick to find the trades right to Ace. Okay, the rope criminal finds one. Hikka looking to take him down, but bunny hopping for the win. Right to Ace survives. Tucks himself into another corner. Hellfighter, though, will not be so lucky. And now right to Ace in a 1v3. The resurrection comes through. Right to Ace will get that one kill, but doesn't get that spike planter down. And the money in shambles for VLT. This is the nightmare scenario.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be broke,
Oh,
especially
man.
in Enigma or on
19
map
on-
points.
Just read out their economies out loud, because I can't do it. I can't.
No, I can't do it either. It's criminal. I can read out their scores though. Deathmaker just one kill away from getting that 30 bomb. But how good is the 30 bomb if you can't win the map? At least Deathmaker has the Blade Storm, so the rest of his teammates can purchase their Spectres, and somehow Vibhor has enough money for a Vandal, but only with light shields. The only thing working for them in this round is Ace and his Hunter's Fury. And if he can somehow use that to deny the diffuse, that is, if they get a plant, then that would be great. That would be the ideal scenario. Hikka already denying mid control to them. This is another opportunity for Team Enigma to get a more map control. Velocity, they haven't really explored mid all that much, but they have been making sure that they show presence over here just to keep Enigma rooted in this place. And Hikka, by doing so, alone that too, he gives so much more freedom to his teammates. And most of those teammates are stacking up the B side, which is honestly the correct place to be. That's where Velocity is headed. Enigma have they've completely left the A side open. They don't have any players stationed over there except for the Killjoy, who's also playing from screens. Rawfuel in prime position.
Ooh.
The AWP doesn't connect just yet, but that doesn't mean they're out of danger. Barrier AWP goes through. There is a snake man in the way, but I don't think Hellfighter will care about that. He's still going to go for the plants. And now this comes through. The Hunter's Fury is a bit late, but maybe Hellfighter can still be picked up. And that's all they needed. Still a 3v5. Enigma have what it takes to win this game. With the numbers advantage, they can just throw bodies at them. And that's exactly what they look to do. Deathmaker towards yellow. He wants to become the manifestation of the Grim Reaper now. Somehow dodging the shock darts, but cannot dodge death itself. Rexy, he might just get killed if the toxin screen goes down in time, but he finds Deathmaker instead. And that's the danger man out of the equation. Ace can only hope to deny the defuse, but it doesn't matter. Antidote's already got the half defuse. And of course, Hikka is coming in for the kill.
Defenders win.
Yeah. Man, that was heartbreaking for Velocity. It wasn't as rough as it just felt disappointing for them in the very end, where they just didn't have enough money to put together a buy. Not the way they imagined themselves going out here. And Enigma Gaming, they actually take the first map. Great stuff by them. Keep picking up Icebox against the side of Velocity, a map which they have been very, very strong on for the longest time. I don't think I've ever seen another team be like, okay, you know what, Icebox, yeah, we can probably beat Velocity on that. No, that has never been the case up until Enigma arrived over here in the playoffs. And now they have managed to beat them on Icebox. That was their own map pick, I believe.
Yeah, that
And
was
Haven is up
Velocity's map
next.
pick.
It-
No,
it- it's
Split is up next.
It's split and bind, right?
Yeah.
Got confused about the veto there. But regardless, I mean, Enigma winning out on VLT's map pick, absolutely big. I just I just wish I could hear the screams in the boot camp right now. But you know what? Let's have a look at the highlights. The next best thing to look at, just let's have a relook at the game and see how Enigma did it. And once again, VLT, if you were a fan, this is not anything surprising, right? I mean, yeah, they don't win the pistol, but they look very convincing in the next few rounds. They get up a big lead, but Enigma start clawing and fighting back, right? I mean, I imagine Velocity had a big lead at one point. What was it, like 7-2
Yes.
or something
Yeah,
of
yeah.
that sort?
Yeah, Enigma won the first 2 rounds of the half, and then Velocity won 7 in a row.
My God, I mean that is nuts. And
I
then,
have to admit, though, both the teams
Mhm.
were much better on their defensive side as compared to the attacking.
Yeah, I mean, they most certainly were, and I don't think there was ever a time where I could look at Enigma and be like, the fact that their the fact that their offensive half hasn't been so great probably means that they're done for in this game. No, as soon as they switched up to defense, it was like, ha, new year, new me, new side, new me. In fact, and yeah, VLT, they had some pretty cheeky round wins in this one, and probably. Some that really end up breaking your heart if you're Enigma, but they stayed strong, and in the end, even though they only won by a margin of 1 round, they still won. And
Yeah,
I said it in my previous cast. I'm going to say it again, as the wise old man Dominic Toretto once said: "It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you win by a mile or an inch. A win is still a win."
some of that ball wisdom seeps through every now and then, and some of these cheeky kills also come through. This one round by Velocity, which they were able to win by putting on a snake bite and denying the plant, that was really smart. Vibor also getting a cheeky win by putting up the barrier up and going for the defuse. Incredible. And just when I thought that Velocity Gaming are able to put up 2 rounds in a row where they just go for objective based gaming and win without fighting, Enigma do the same thing. That one round where I think it was RVK who stuck the ninja defuse.
Yep.
Hika was being forced towards screens by 2 people, and RVK was like, "Sure, you guys are out there hunting my sage, so I will exact revenge by killing the spike, not the players, just diffusing it right off there." And then another cheeky win came through later on as the plant was denied by the shock darts. And I really thought that would be a round loss for Velocity, but somehow Deathmaker came clutch over there.
Yep. You know what would be a very interesting change?
Hmm?
If they made it so that the attackers don't win by just killing the entirety of the defenders, but they also have to plant the spike in the end to get the win. That would just really
Okay.
make the game a lot more interesting.
All right, now we're heading into outlandish fantasies, but let's just
Absolutely.
get back to Earth over here. Speaking of Earth,
Yeah.
both Deathmaker and Raw Fuel were not on it. They were up in the sky getting all these very, very stylish kills, and the only thing that tops it is RVK's ace.
Yeah, I mean RVK, I'm not gonna lie, RVK when he started off this game, his performance, it didn't feel like it was very strong. It felt, quite frankly, if you've been an RVK fan, it felt a little disappointing. Didn't want to say that out loud, but it is the truth. The first few rounds really didn't look like they were going his way. But then he gets the ace, after sticking that defuse, and you have to just be like, yeah, RVK, he may not have done that well in those first few rounds, but man, did he redeem himself in those next ones.
Yeah,
And
he
once
came in
again,
clutch when his team needed him.
Exactly, right. I mean, when it mattered the most, he delivered, and that's what matters about this man. RVK, just the ability to perform under pressure, is what sets him apart from his peers. And there you go. In the end, I mean, this is just stat padding from Rockfield. Come on, man. They both line up, and he gets the kill in just one single shot. Come on, that's a bit too naughty for my taste. You know
Yeah,
what's
but
even naughtier though? When I believe they killed off, was it Hellfighter or RVK when he got that Viper spit up? Do you remember
oh
towards
yeah.
B
I think
main?
it was. I think it was
Yeah, I think it was
Vibhor
RVK.
left towards the end. Vibhor coming in from the zip line and pretending like he's Tom Cruise from Mission Impossible.
Yep.
That was the round you're speaking about, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's the same round. Yeah. I mean, that's just so heartbreaking, right? I mean, so RVK just had a very tough game overall, but this man just put on a brave face, put on a smile, and just, delivered when it mattered the most. And a lot of resilience in Enigma as well.
There
Can't help but
was
think that it has something to do with the addition of Antidote and Rexy, right?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, speaking of Antidote's edition, there was quite a lot of counter-stratting involved in the last few rounds. Like for example, the tiny gap that left in the toxin screen towards the
Hmm.
A screens region, right in the Viper's wall. That tiny gap allows Enigma to get a couple of kills. I think it was Marzel who died there from that little gap in the A toxin screen. Then there are cheeky frags like the shock dart kills from Rexy every time
Oh,
he
yeah.
goes into deny the plant. There were other level of counter stratting as well, like for example, RBK pushing out of B main, destroying the turret deliberately, and then falling back, which kind of makes Velocity think that there could be a potential backstab where there is none. And then it forces two of their players deeper to its belt instead of letting them play on side and defend. So those kind of mind games came in from Enigma every now and then. Some of them very intentional, some of them just happen to throw Velocity in a bind without them even realizing. But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, it is Enigma who won the mental games and the first map. But
Yeah, and it really. Go on.
both the Jets just popping off over here. Raw Fuel, Deathmaker, 29 kills each. Oh, that's just ridiculously good.
Yeah, look at the combat score as well. Both of them way above 330. They're just having a mini game of their own. They're like, let's see which jet is better. And Deathmaker, sure, his stats look a lot better, but Raw Fuel, he got the last laugh, getting the win for his team 13-11. A very close match, by the way. I don't think that it'd be right to just really point out and say, like, oh, this is the reason why Velocity lost, or that is the reason Enigma lost. No, not really. I mean, it was so close in the end that everything just played a factor in. And
Yeah.
I think overall, this is just shaping up to be a very, very interesting third season in the playoffs bracket. But yep, I mean, let's jump into the break for now. I believe we're going to
Hmm.
be heading over, taking a bit of a break ourselves, and letting the players have a break as well. But when we're back, we're going to be back with Split. It's going to be Enigma's pick. It's going to be interesting. Don't go anywhere. Until then, you're watching LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Gauntlet Season 3, powered by Crucial, along with our apparel partner 656, our accessories partner Cosmic Byte, and our esports partner Aimlab. We'll be back in just a bit.
the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to LG Ultragear presents Tec Gauntlet Season 3, powered by Crucial. Our apparel partner is 6x6, accessories partner Cosmic Byte, and our esports partner is Aimlab. You guys are watching Team Enigma go up against Velocity, and Enigma have won the first map. They won Icebox, which was Team Velocity's map pick. So
Yeah.
going into split, which is their own map, I think they have a lot of comfort, a lot of confidence, and of course, camaraderie as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, Split is gonna be. I mean, I don't know what Velocity are gonna do. Now, the good news for them is that they start out on defense, right? So you get to pick up a super defensive setup. You get to pick up something like, I don't know, a Sage Killjoy. If you really just want to be extremely annoying, you get to pick up a Viper. Lots of cool stuff. But I'm sure Enigma Gaming they have a plan for this, and I've been hinting towards that KO pick. Split is a map that is pretty good for KO. Maybe we see that coming through. But hey, who knows? I mean, if that KO gets picked up, then Velocity's defense it can be shattered because we have seen the side of EXO play it, and whenever they pull out the KO on offense, it looks very, very successful. That knife point just does so much work every single time it's thrown towards that mid area. Just covers a lot of ground and suppresses opponents. So you get a lot of map control for an ability that you basically get for free. And
Yeah.
that is really something on an agent. But speaking of KO in the agent selection, well, let's jump straight into it and see if there is indeed going to be a KO pickup or not. If there is one from the side of Enigma, I imagine Antidote's going to be playing it. What do you think, Crips?
I think no. If
Who
Antidote
would play
does
it?
pick up something, he's most likely going to go for the Astra. There's something. He's more suited for the controller slash sentinelish roles rather than having an initiator in his pocket. Initiator usually would go to Hika. He's the man with the sky over here. But for now, it doesn't seem like there is going to be a KO at all.
Yep, it definitely does not. I mean, doesn't seem like Enigma are even considering it, which is a little bit surprising. But hey, if you've worked with something and it's worked for you in the past, why change it? Why try and adapt something that may not necessarily give you an advantage and something that you might have to put a lot of work in? Well, they're gonna stick to their guns, tried and tested, pick up the Cypher for Rexy, Antidote on that Astra, Hika on that Sky, and yeah, REK picking up that Viper. Pretty much mirror lineups for both sides. Double controllers good on both offense and defense, and I think that's the reason why Enigma have gone for this sort of lineup, because they kind of want to
Select
have
your
that
agent.
even power dynamic on both sides, right? Many a times you'll see teams, they pick their agents according to which side they're starting on, just have a very strong first half and then build on that, and then just try to make life a little bit difficult for the opponents after you've established that lead. But instead, VLT and Enigma both, they're sort of just going for the even approach, just making sure that both of the sides are really, really solid. And the double control is always fun to watch. You can split up the map in lots of different ways with that toxin screen. You've also got those smokes that you can use to set up fakes and whatnot. And I imagine RVK is going to be doing a lot of lurking on this map, so it should be very, very interesting and fun to watch. But for VLT, it's go time, because if they lose this one, Crips, they're down to the lower bracket.
Yeah, and you don't want to go down there. You have to face Team Exploit if you lose this. If you win, you are going up against Team EXO. And of course, you would want to prefer to be in the upper bracket. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump into the game. And we have Team Velocity starting on defense this time around.
This is a nice spot.
Okay, that is an interesting camp setup coming in from Mazel. I imagine he's going to play off-site as a result of that. But you know what I really like about certain Cypher players is that many times Cyphers will be proactive or with the cam, or they'll just leave the cam be and put it in a position where it's really going to allow them to go for those retakes. And considering Cypher is an agent that can't outright stop pushes, that sort of positioning on a cam can be super helpful. But okay, Deathmaker gets bested by Raw Fuel. 2-tap by him straight to the head. And sure, he gets tagged up himself too, but he can be healed up. Or he
Yeah.
can't, because never mind, he didn't buy the heal.
Still fine. You've dealt with one of the most aggressive players on Team Velocity, and that's Deathmaker out of the picture. Keep in mind, he's the man who dropped 29 frags last time around, so Raw Fuel getting rid of him is big. And in response, what do Velocity have? Nothing. They haven't pushed out of anywhere. They can't even afford to do so anymore because they are already lacking members. Plus, with this, they have to just really split the whole map. They have to play 2 on B, 2 on A, and nobody on mid. Hellfighter right to Ace, instantly punching 1-2, and report goes unchecked. He even gets the kill onto Antidote before he finally falls. The last two members of Enigma extremely low on HP. Luckily for them, there's no defenders on the Ace side, so if they hurry and they go for the plant just now, it would be great. But the camera present from Azad over there will make sure that all their post-plant positions are not a secret anymore.
Oh yeah, this could be big though. I don't think they detected where Raw Fuel is, but now he's made noise. Now they know where he is, and Hellfighter cleans him up. Hika, he's gotten the plant down, but that camera, like we talked about earlier, it kind of just figures out where Hika is, and Hika is not long for this world. Made vulnerable, shot in the chest by the ghost, and he's done for. Velocity, winning a pistol. A sentence I never thought I'd be saying in this best of 3.
I don't see any reason why you wouldn't say that sentence.
Because
Of
every
course,
single time Velocity have won a pistol, it's never ended out well for them. Just because of that. Yeah.
All
It's a
right.
historic precedent.
Could be, but I thought I wouldn't be saying that after Rockfield was able to 2-tap Deathmaker out of the picture. But seems like Velocity can win without him. The aggression from Velocity towards B main was important. If they stayed on the side, if they did not play aggressively, then they would have just given Enigma a lot more map control, and they would have allowed Enigma to even mount the B assault in the first place. With them picking up the aggression, they not only got the kills, but they also drove the forces of Enigma away from B side, forcing them to go back A via mid. Something which, of course, they were not very comfortable doing, but it's not like they had a choice.
Yeah. And VLT now, I mean, now that they've got that first round victory, they're just not letting the side of Enigma gain any map control. I mean, they've left mid fairly open, but they've got a cam to see what's going to happen over there, plus the tripwire towards rope room. So mid control is not going to come for free. They've also dropped a cage and a star that's going to help them prevent pushes from coming in. Yeah, that's the most hilarious jump I've seen that Wolf ever do. It seemed like he was jumping at him with his underbelly, trying to smack them in the face with it, but he shot out of the sky before that. They do find some mid control. They get into rope room, but that tripwire is going to create some problems. And considering the positions aren't that good towards A, well, nothing's going to happen there. Meanwhile, Rawfield gets cleaned up, and now Enigma caught between a rock and a hard place.
You have to appreciate the timing of that flash too. The guiding light coming in just in time before he
30
peeks.
seconds left.
Even if the first shot missed, it's fine because the guiding light was there. But now Hika, he's showing us who's the better Sky. Marzel throwing out utility just to keep them at bay, but Hika's already snuck past. Marzel good for one. He knows exactly where the opponent's Cypher is because he can hear him take out the tag, and that's the spike down on the ground. Antidote hitting some nutty shots, and he's good for even more. The only thing he doesn't know is that Deathmaker's right here, but at least he won't be allowed to plant. 2 seconds left, and there's not much time.
Deathmaker, you clever devil. He dashed over there to try and pretend that he was going to stop the plant, but no, he knew that the fake out was going to be enough, and Antidote will not stick it.
Still, with Enigma getting 3 kills on this eco, I think it's a decent eco round. I mean, they've put Velocity in a very uncomfortable spot. Now they can either purchase, their Phantoms and Vandals with no armor, or they can reinvest in Spectres and put their economy in an even deeper situation where it was before. So now that Enigma have the Phantoms and Vandals themselves, Velocity do not have Spectres in everyone. Marzel and Deathmaker, sorry, not Marzel and Deathmaker, it's Marzel and Right to Ace who have to just downgrade to Sheriffs, and somehow even after winning the first 2 rounds, they don't have the superior weaponry. Still, it's a bonus round, and Velocity were never supposed to win this in the first place, and that's kind of evident by the fact that Rexy is getting all the kills right at the start.
Oh yeah.
He even forced off the other people off that position, with them pushing off the players of Velocity towards A and getting the ultimate off on B. That's a lot of information from Enigma that they have given out to Velocity, and now Velocity have everything they need to work with. The only difference is Rawfield will not be greeted by a tripwire this time around. He's trying to fire and break it, but there is none over there. This kind of conditions you into believing that there's going to be a tripwire over there every time, right? So now, even if there is real estate available, Enigma will be very careful to take it. They will be extremely cautious, and they will assume there are people watching the rope room even though there are none. And Rawfuel even gets killed. So that's a Vandal available now for Team Velocity.
Yeah, and Velocity's still very much in this fight. They might have given up side control, but they're trying and playing for the retake until Hika shoots Deathmaker in the face. Now, Hellfighter did find some trade over here. That flash actually does not connect on him. He still peeks out and kills Rexy. He stops the plant from coming through. Hika's now deciding to take the fight, and Marzel cleans him up. All of a sudden, a 1v2 for Enigma, and it's Antidote to try and clutch this one out. Getting sucked in by the Guardian. Uses that movement against him, but Hellfighter, running and gunning with the Spectre, will clean him up. And the bonus goes the way of Velocity.
First of all, both the Astras on the movement. It's Antidote first getting sucked in, and then Hellfighter with the run and gun of the Spectre. Has to be the most comical thing I've seen today. And I've seen Ninja defuses in the previous round, in the previous map, so that's saying something.
Yep.
Either way, Velocity winning out this bonus is completely unexpected. They were up against Vandals and Phantoms, and their success was telegraphed when they managed to bamboozle Rawfuel right at the start over there towards mid. This time they don't need any bamboozling, just pure brute force by Deathmaker, and he's getting all the kills. 2 from the man himself, and then we're bored with the third one. Yeah, they're just cleaning it up. Enigma left with nothing but two sheriffs. Make it one. And this looks like Velocity will get the 4th round too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. RVK, yeah, he's got a sheriff, but you know it's a 1v5. I don't imagine he's gonna be able to pull that off in Hellfighter. Make sure that he doesn't even get one kill. 4-0 for Velocity. Economy building up. And Deathmaker was very quick to purchase that operator. So, you know, he's going to start saving up money for the next operator already. He's got that Bladestorm up and running. Vibor's going to play out another bonus on the back of his Spectre. And, yeah, the money just pouring in for VL2 right now. Enigma sort of struggling on their attacking side to make things happen. And I can't help but think this is VLT deliberately changing up the way they're playing, right? I mean, Marzel has done a lot of unconventional stuff so far. He's thrown on a camera mid, he's thrown on a camera towards A. And all in all, you don't see the standard Viper plus Astra setup towards mid instead. No, it's been somewhat passive. And this time around, they've sent Deathmaker towards mid instead to find some sort of pick. Hekado, aware about this, will try and get Rexy. The blind comes through. I'm not sure if that detects them, but oh no, they ended up losing Rexy, and they even gonna lose raw fuel now. Deathmaker completely obliterating them. And there you go, Marzel on the flank. This is big.
There is a counter flank too, though. Marzel has pushed out a sewers that's kind of gonna give Velocity the information that nobody will approach A. But there is somebody, and it's RVK. He's trying to move towards the A side. Now, luckily for Team Velocity, RVK can't do much because the spike is still on B. So the max he can do here is hope to draw in rotations, which will not result in anything. He's putting down all the Viper utility on the A side, hoping to fake. But it's not going to work. He finds Marzel, but again, that information is completely irrelevant because Marzel already has given out everything his team needs. And Deathmaker finding all these kills, it's just a bonus.
30 seconds left.
Oh,
yeah,
and
there was
free upgrade.
Absolutely no way that Enigma would have been able to win this round. First of all, there were a double push from Velocity towards the A region. Marzel, along with one more player, they both pushed out of the A side, got a pick. Marzel took off his hat, used the neural theft, and he discovered that everyone on the side of Enigma was towards mid. Nobody towards A, nobody towards B, just purely on mid. What does that do? He pushes out, and why wouldn't he? He's got a decent position in the sewers, and with that, Team Velocity know that Enigma have no choice but to come towards the B side, so Deathmaker is ready with the op over there. He got a nice double kill. And sure, we had RVK trying to sell a fake towards the A side, but nobody's gonna buy it because Velocity own the goddamn market.
Yeah, they do. Clever Panda, I see what you did there. But once again, I mean, Enigma sort of struggling to make anything happen on this attacking half, and I can't help but feel that somewhere or the other, it's really their lack of utility to clear out areas, right? I mean, sure, they've got an Astra, they've got a Sky, but that's it.
I wouldn't
do you do?
say it's not the lack of utility from Enigma, but instead it's the excessive utility from Velocity thereof. Consider this, they've been using the Toxin screen so creatively and differently every round. Right now, the Toxin screen from Vibor is on the A side. Gonna prevent the players from coming in and planting quickly. It just delays them. But in the previous round, Vibor put this slanting Toxin screen towards mid, which allows players like Deathmaker and Hellfighter to play aggressively towards the right-hand side of mid and get away with it without any consequence. So that distinction is helping them quite a lot. But then there's Antidote. And a distinguished gentleman he is. Stylish frag onto Marzel. He captures a gun. This could be big. And with that, he's also gotten into B heaven. He has the option to go all the way to its defender spawn and bisect this map in half.
Yeah, and look at RVK, just so clever. Throws on a snake bite, throws on a poison orb, just gets away back to safety. Right away, he's getting dinked up there.
Oof.
Big win for Antidote, but Deathmaker is there to chime right back and clean up that kill. Rawfuel says, thank you very much, I'll pick off. No, that was a deep flash coming in from the side of Enigma, not the way they wanted this thing to go. Rexy, now spotted out by the Seekers, kind of has to make do from the horrible position he has in hell, and Deathmaker is just going to put him out of his misery. RVK is also going to get cleaned up. Deathmaker just start padding at this point. He will finally put an end to his killing spree with a rather stylish track, but it's still a 1v3, and that operator is going to be recovered. And Hellfighter, well, who needs eyes when you've got Spidey senses?
Oh, speaking of who needs eyes, It wasn't a team flash per se, but it was an unintentional flash.
Yeah.
Here's right to Ace, flashing towards B main, hoping to back up Deathmaker. As a result, he ends up flashing Raw Fuel as well, simply because Raw Fuel was peeking that angle at the time. And even though the flash was intended for B main, Deathmaker, he wasn't able to capitalize on that frag, but then Right to Ace found a blind Raw Fuel inside of Hell. And Right to Ace would be thinking, right, thank you so much for the blind frag. Yeah, exactly. He would have been thinking, when did I blind him? Hicker's gonna be like, when did he shoot me? Because Deathmaker gets the frag on him already and falls back. Raw Fuel being cheeky around that Toxin Cloud. Gets one, but Hellfighter trades him out immediately. Hellfighter was spotted by Antidote. Now that information will be relayed to Marzel, who's gonna take Hellfighter's place instead. He's trying to cross over towards the other side of mid. This could have been big, but somehow Antidote anticipated it. He even tagged up Marzel down to 70 HP, but no kill just yet, which means they still have to deal with him on the backstab, and Marzel's already moving. The B main camera, it's gonna delay them even more. The only thing saving them over here is the tripwire that Marzel cannot cross without deactivating it. But hey, he can. I mean, they got to deal with bigger problems over here. Deathmaker watching over this site like a hawk. Somehow RVK does not connect the shot, and he gets punished for it by Deathmaker. Turns around 180 degrees and butchers Rexy from above.
Man, Rexy at that point, it just seemed that from his endgame actions, he was a little dejected. He was like, I can't even plant the spike now. And then he just died too soon. 7-0. This is not what I'm used to seeing. Enigma getting absolutely handled by Velocity right now.
Yeah, and I don't even blame them, honestly, because Enigma, after they activated the Viper Spit, instead of going for the plant just directly, they wanted to get a couple of kills because they knew that this was a 3v5, which turned into a 2v5 later, as that nigga got that op kill. So they wanted to get a couple of kills before they went for the plant, otherwise they would have been denied instantly. That's why RVK was in hell in the first place. Poor Raw Fuel, I feel so bad for him right now. And with this Toxin screen, they can't even refrag. The moment the first frag from Deathmaker comes through, the Toxin screens go up, no trade potential available, and Hellfighter's doing shenanigans around his Nebula. Rexy's camera has been denied, so he knows Rexy's inside that Nebula somewhere. Right to Ace winning duels on mid, Hellfighter winning duels on B main. This is an absolute shutout.
Oh, okay, Hellfighter. Wasn't happy fighting him on uneven ground, so he pulls out his own Sheriff and shoots Antidote in the head instead. Speaking of distinguished gentlemen, I'm quite sure Hellfighter is one after that little bout, but yeah, there is nothing gentle about what Velocity are doing to the side of Enigma. I mean, this is rough. Enigma, they have struggled to find a single round so far, and soon enough, I mean, they are going to be in a world of trouble if they don't get this round under their belt, because they're going to have to go in for an eco again. It's going to be 10-0. And at that point, there's not even the curse to protect you from that situation.
Ouch. Yeah, the Viper screams out, this is her territory.
Found you.
Towards mid, that's as good as a curse. Velocity? They don't know that the B hit is coming in, but they don't need to worry. And Enigma are just placing all their bets towards the side. They're hoping that they can just hustle through all the utility unbothered and get the plant. But they get the plant, and at what cost? They're losing their men. Marzel and Right to Ace good for one. Deathmaker, sure, he's dead, but let's be honest, that operator in the retake was never going to be relevant anyway, so Velocity can make do without him.
Yep, and now Enigma, they're just committing more and more ultimates into this round, trying to save a sinking ship. We'll see if it pays off though. We'll see if they can plug all the gaps. This is a very good Cosmic Divide, and maybe Velocity need to respect this a little bit. But look at RVK. He's trying to be a little bit cheeky. Marzel, is he going to see this coming? No, his Vandal is sticking out. His Vandal is sticking out, and RVK knows the result. He's good for one, but gets traded out instantly. It's going to be down to the last player, Rexy. Now in a 1v1, and he handles them. Make sure that this round goes to the side of Enigma. Make sure that they at least see one on the attacking half.
He used the counter Cosmic Divide from Antidote to his advantage. He knew that it buys space for Team Velocity to go in for the diffuse, and it the cosmic divide that Antidote used, it was basically to just delay the push in from Velocity, right? But Hellfighter's cosmic divide, that was made sure that nobody inside of B main from Enigma can stop the diffuse from happening. But what Rexy does instead, he goes in towards the other side of pillar, uses the space created by that cosmic divide of Hellfighter, and then he just keeps himself alive while his teammates are just busy trading frags back and forth. And simply because he's alive, all he needs to do is just deny the diffuse for just a couple of more seconds. And he's got the round, but he does one even better. He gets all the kills. This round though, look at how Velocity are adjusting. They have completely left mid open. They're focusing on A and B instead. The Seekers have been committed by Team Enigma, but what good is that gonna do?
Look at the spike, Crips. It's all going all the way towards A. This is a big fake. A big fake. A big fake that's even being sold because Rafu found that first kill. Now they don't know. They don't know where the spike's actually going to go. It's all down to Vibhor to try and save this round. He will get the first kill. Can he get the second? Yes, he can. Shuts down now. He pulls the round right back. And Hellfighter, he's going to be there just biting the bait, or at least making sure that Antidote, when he bites the bait, he gets caught. And what a beautiful hold coming out from them. Right to he's actually spotted out 2 on his wolf, so he assumed it's going to be a B hit. Because Enigma, they've been rather lazy with how assertive they are, right? They've not been that assertive. They've been very reactive throughout their games. But this time around, this was a bait and switch setup, and unfortunately, it just seemed that they just messed with the wrong guy, Vibhor, with the impact frags. And once again, Crips, he's only had 5 frags so far in this game, but every single frag that he has had has been so consequential.
10 seconds
I think Team Velocity won this round before it even started. What sort of a madman leaves mid open? Velocity have absolutely no defenses on mid in this round. They had just one player watching B heaven, and again, that person was the person responsible for backing up the B side when the hit came through from Enigma. So they tried to sell the fake on B. They even committed the Seekers, which resulted in, Marzel getting a cabbage on his head. But after that, as soon as the spike went towards the A side, even if Vibhor was not able to get all those kills, it would have been fine because he had backup. Nobody from Velocity present on mid. They focused on the sites instead. They knew that Enigma will try to go for something like this, and Velocity read it like an open book.
Yep. Great stuff from Velocity once again as they... I mean, really great stuff by Vibhor, to be honest. That round was all him. When he managed to get those 2 frags, he turned it on its head. And Enigma, they really didn't see that coming. I mean, Raw Fuel, there was such a great opening by him towards B, right? He gets the kill, he sells the fake even further, just confusing and bamboozling the side of VLT. But then there's this man called Vibhor, who's the anchor on that A side. And now it's Deathmaker. Raw Fuel, okay, once again, just starting things off on the B side, getting some control. But this time around, it ain't no fake. They're going to try to make their way back towards B instead. Control has been maintained. But it's
The Astra.
slowly away.
Antidote. Antidote catching Ace off guard. What a bait and switch. His teammate was busy making sure that he engages Vibhor over here towards the B side while Antidote snuck up B heaven. But now it's all gone to waste because Hellfighter finds him. That was such a good setup to take control of B heaven, but it doesn't result in them getting a spike plant. Hey, at least now the members of Velocity are stationed towards the B site and Rexy has the opportunity to plant. But after that, he needs to pull off a 1v3. He has 1 tripwire and his ultimate, so if he gets a kill, he can take off the hat and reveal the position of 2 players, but he cannot leave the site.
Oh, I think he heard him.
Can he? He's about to sneak into its screens and nobody's looking in his direction. If he can circle around, this would be great.
Oh, I love this coming in from Rexy. He needs to play aggressive, and that's exactly what he's doing. But no, Deathmaker knows where he's positioned. Vibhor has to be aware. No! Rexy does not connect with the shot. He misses the headshot, and now DM has marked his position. Can he actually land the kill? He lands the first one, looking for the second. Okay, shoulder peaks DM, but DM still bests him with the ghost. And Rexy had a real opportunity there, but didn't push out. Believe that he was in a bit of an awkward spot, given the fact that he'd already made noise. He thought that Deathmaker would catch that, but Deathmaker didn't. They weren't checking for him from... Well, they weren't anticipating him coming in from screens towards A heaven. They thought that he was going to continue playing side, so he had a chance there, but just didn't know it himself. And
checking the situation.
Yeah, but they still took the precaution, right?
Yeah,
they still took the precaution. They put in the cloudburst to its screen just in case he was present in application.
Get out of my way.
And it worked out for them.
Okay, well, that Hawk is going to reveal one, but Hellfighter is just waiting around the corner. And they have stepped right into his trap. Deathmaker is going to find RVK once again towards B main. Misses the second shot, but that's okay. He's done his fair share of work in this round. Eka though, good for one. Looking for the second one. Blind is a bat, but still manages to connect. And Antidote follows up with the kill on right to Ace. Mid completely opened up now. Mazel still towards A heaven in a good position. Can still sort of delay this push by a little bit. But the neural theft from Rexy is going to reveal everything. And now they have decisions to make. Do they go towards B where there's Deathmaker's operator in play, or do they go towards A? They're hesitating, they're second guessing themselves, but it is gonna be a B take coming in. Deathmaker appropriately switches over to the Vandal as he realizes that he can't afford to blow people up with the operator in this sort of a situation, but they do neither. Neither are they going to B, neither are they going towards A. They're trying to find some semblance of a pick so that they can make this a little bit easier. And even though they haven't found that, they've actually managed to make their way towards B instead. They're trying to pinch the solo attacker on the side. Well, they will be successful, but it does come at a cost, and that cost is Deathmaker's life. Mazel now in a 1v2. He's got the neural theft, but no fresh corpses around, so...
There is, right here.
Yeah, but it needs to be fresh. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah, there is one. You're right. It's the kill that Deathmaker achieved. And there you go. Now he knows where they are. The spy cam dart. It's so annoying in this situation, though. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. This is painful.
He's still going for the ballsy defuse?
He had given up on life at that point. He knew.
Yeah, there's not much that he can do. Plus, it's fine. It's still a 10-2. Even if Mazel loses this round, they have a double-digit lead. So I think Velocity are unbothered with this one. But
my God,
I have to give credit to Enigma Gaming for winning this round because it was so incredibly difficult. There were rounds where Velocity had absolutely no one stationed on B. No one stationed on mid. And then there's rounds like this. There were 3 members of Velocity positioned in mid. One just outside of B heaven, one in ropes, and one on the boxes towards the left-hand side. Plus, there was the utility from Vibhor. And that makes all the players of Enigma vulnerable as they try to peek outside, but they were able to kill all 3 of those. Hiccup with a blind kill even, and then Antidote following up with one more. So, yeah, they brute force through the massive defense that Velocity put up on mid and still win the round, so that has to command some respect. Unfortunately, even if this win does come in their favor, they don't have too many rounds to work off of. A similar toxin screen used by Enigma this time around to gather control of mid, but they haven't pushed out all that much. At least it's doing a good job of keeping Velocity at bay towards mid, and it's going to force them to play either towards A main, that's where Mazel and Deathmaker are stationed, and now even the Spike is moving in that region. The only person staying at the bottom of mid is gonna be Ace, and he's just sending Trailblazers over here simply to keep the players of Enigma still stationed on the mid region, hoping to delay the rotation, where Rexy is the only person on A.
Okay, that Cypher Key is actually going to stop them from going in, but never mind. Hellfighter, or rather, it's Mazel who drops a Cypher Key of his own to try and get them some cover so they can get on site, and they will get on site. No casualties. Damage. And now RVK coming in from behind, managed to get one pick right to Ace though, hungry for this pick, but guess what, he's found another before he went down. He takes out Mazel and Rawfuel finds right to Ace. In the meantime, Enigma really need this pistol win. It's down to good old Deathmaker, and yeah, just getting quad peaked there. Miserable way to go out. They'll get the first round, and with that some much needed momentum to propel them back in this game.
Yeah, hopefully they can keep this up. I think Velocity will try to go for some risky purchases over here just so that they can deny the momentum to Enigma. If they don't do so, that's also going to be understandable. They don't need to, but they have the opportunity to take a risk. Let's see if they do it or not. I have to admit though, RVK was so crucial in this round. Not only does he figure out that not only does he figure out that Ace's Trailblazer is a fake, but he's also the first one to rotate towards ramps in time. And he gets 2 kills. In fact, he forces out errors from Team Velocity. He makes one of the players walk through his toxin screen, walks through his snake bite so that he becomes vulnerable and dies in 2 hits. And just to kill RVK, there were so many people of Velocity focusing towards A main instead of screens. So he drew in all the attention towards himself, buying more space for his teammates. And once again, RVK delivers. This time gets a kill too. So many impact frags from RVK. And he doesn't have all those many frags. He's only got 5 kills, but like you said, both the Vipers, Vibhor and RVK, putting up impact frag after impact frag over here.
Yeah. Oh, no. Hellfighter just spamming that spot, manages to take down RVK. Wait, where did he get the Spectre from? Have the side of VLT force bot? Yes, they have. Okay, then. Spectre's in play for them, so they're not gonna let Enigma off the handle just as easily. If they want an economic lead, they're gonna have to work for it. And Raw Fuel, he's the only person holding this mid-cross towards B right now with the Ghost. Not the most inspiring of weapons, but in his hands, that Ghost, it can double tap people. Antidote very aggressive towards A, though. They might not expect this. I mean, Vibhor is going to try to find some opening over here, but I don't think he's going to check
30
that.
seconds left.
And by the time he does, Antidote has already put him 6 feet under. Right to Ace, though. It does find Raw Fuel towards mid, but it's all a setup for Hika. Oh, he gets one, does damage over to his second one, and Rexy just trying to live there. Why is his cage not going off? He's trying to get his cage go off. His cage is just not going off. Finally, he's going to be able to use it, and it goes off. Oh boy, that not too sure what the hell happened there, but Rexy,
Last player standing.
certainly not his fault to it. There, Antidote. Oh, okay, right to Ace. What the hell? Ah, man, that is just annoying if you're Enigma right now. This is not what you needed.
Velocity are just smoke criminals. I found myself saying what like 3-4 times in that round, and almost all of them were because somebody got a kill without any line of sight.
Yeah.
First it was Deathmaker randomly spamming, and he's able to get a kill onto RVK. Then once again it's Ace with the sheriff, with the Spectre clutches, just bulldozing his way through. Rexy kind of found himself on an island over there when he put up that cyber cage. I understand he did it just because he needed to stay alive and somehow maintain a modicum of B control. But in process of doing so, he isolated himself away from his teammates, and that no trading potential was there. So that was how the round crumbled. And with Velocity winning that round, they've put Enigma back into the economic trenches right now.
Okay, but
From
look
those
at
trenches, yeah, they will try to mount a mid take.
this is interesting coming in from them. They've made some noise, so they are anticipating a player or two from this place, but I don't know if they're anticipating everyone. And okay, doesn't matter what you're anticipating, they do end up finding Hellfighter, and with that, a Vandal to work with. A 5v4 situation now, and Raw Fuel, this place just needs to stay alive and apply some pressure over here, and that's exactly what he's doing. Just being annoying, drawing attention, tanking all those flashes, allowing that B main push to come in. And now it's going to be Rexy leading the charge here with the Vandal. The Seekers, it spots one out, and Bo finds Antidote in the meantime. Right to Ace gets Raw Fuel as well, but the Vandal is still in play. Quickly being taken out by Right to Ace. Runs out of bullets, switches over to the Classic, and there's Vibhor coming in from the backstab. Kills his counterpart RVK, and the Vandal will be recovered. 12-3, VLT making this look easy.
After that loss on Icebox, I did not think VLT would be able to bounce back from split this hard. I mean, that round was absolutely clutch from Right to Ace. First of all, the Seekers spotting out everything that they needed. They just needed confirmation on how many players were present towards B main, and with the Seekers, 2 of them going towards B Heaven and the Defender spawn region respectively, it told them that the remaining 2 players are towards B main. That's all the info they needed, and then Right to Ace with that triple spray as well. So giving them the information, giving them the kills, and now the map point too. Absolutely clutched from Ace. Let's see if he can do it again. This time it's going to be Mazel and Hellfighter holding the angle.
Whoa. Okay, that is big. Hika seeing the spike early on. Vibhor still finds out of it, but it doesn't mean much. They know where the spike is. They try to hold on to it. He's doing the best possible job he can, but Hika just too good, sprays them all down. Hellfighter and Right to A is getting cleaned up, and there's the Seekers coming out once again. Deathmaker is going to destroy all of them. Manages to get the spike back, but it's still a 3v2 for the side of VLT.
Yeah, sure. They've spotted out the spike. They spotted out Deathmaker over there. But because Deathmaker broke all the Seekers, they have no idea where Vibhor is. And if Vibhor strikes at the right time, he might be able to get a kill. Maybe even 2. Vibhor, though, if he does try to peek someone over there, he's going to have to go up against Raw Fuel holding the angle with the op. Meanwhile, Deathmaker has to cross this line, which Hika is holding, and it's a very narrow angle. It's unlikely that Deathmaker is able to get a frag over here. He dashes away, but goes back into the same position on the other side. That is a big brain move. And also a little bit of a big balls move because it is very risky. But Spike Plant has been since denied because it's a fight, and now he has almost no time Planting also going to be very risky because through
seconds
that
left.
cloud burst he can get shot, but he
planted.
somehow survives and Vibhor now joins him. 2v2, this is doable for VLT. Maybe they can finish this off right here and now.
Yeah, Vibhor doesn't really have the poison cloud though, so can't cross over safely over here. But instead, it's trying to take this fight towards heaven, and Raw Fuel has switched over to the Vandal. Will shut down Deathmaker and Vibhor. He's not gonna let Hika's plays go in vain. As Enigma, they keep themselves in this game, make it 12-4. And VLT, they just need to cross the finishing line here. But man, is that finishing line being a tease right now. They see it on the horizon, but every time they move a little bit closer to it, it just seems to move a little bit farther back. And Enigma,
Thus they
no
prove if
finishing
that
line
was
is
wrong.
right for them. Yeah, what?
Yeah, it's a horizon joke.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, well, I haven't played Horizon, that's why it flew over my head, so apologies for that.
I
But
haven't even played Apex.
I have played Apex, okay? But for now, it looks like both VLT and Enigma are not going to be taking any sorts of aggressive fights, or at least VLT are not even going to... No, never mind, that's actually the Wiper Wall coming in from the defense. I thought that was their Wiper Wall, just looked a little weird, but yeah, Raw Fuel, good for one on Marzel. What's out DM Antidote? Not expecting this, and DM gets cleaned up. 5v3 again. These are exactly the kind of plays Enigma need to make if they want to come back in this game. Catch VLT by surprise. And Hika also waiting around the corner. That flash doesn't spot out anyone. RBK sees one though, and that's the spike. Hellfighter good for one, good for two. And now makes it a 2v3, and right to he's trying to leak in towards the A side. Raw Fuel does not know about this. This could be huge. He can make it all the way back from A heaven and get the kill on Raw Fuel, possibly even take out Antidote.
And
There's no reason for him to check this. He does not know. He's so secure right now. He has all the comfort in the world. He knows that there's no one behind him. Oh, right to Ace. Are you gonna go for the knife? No, he's just going for more information over here. We'll clean him up, but 30 seconds remaining on the clock. They need to make some moves here.
nice, the flash finds Rexy. Now they can head towards A, but Raw Fuel's over here.
They damn seconds
found
behind them!
Outsider.
Oh, he cleans up! I mean, this is the weirdest round I've seen so far. Both
I know,
players going
right?
undetected.
So Raw Fuel, he actually they knew that Raw Fuel likes to play towards A site, but the funny part is Raw Fuel first kills one person from screens, and then he moves towards ramp. So they knew he's somewhere on the A site, but not sure exactly where. Ace walks through, he murders the Astra in a very funny manner. That too, he uses the guiding light, finds out where Rexy is, but they still thought that Raw Fuel would be somewhere on the A site, like the planting area site. They had no idea he would be present towards ramp. And Ace even tried to make a run for the site. He tried to cover up the escape route with a guiding light. It wasn't working. And Marzel, his Cybergate is not going to work this time around. So things are starting to go wrong. And Marzel was pretty important for his team because he had the neural theft available. Still, no problem. There's 3 more ultimates. One of them is right to Ace, and he can also find information with his ultimate. But the core is down.
Oh, wow.
At least Deathmaker's got the stylish eco frags, and with that, he's got the Blade Storm too.
Can he
Can
find...
definitely challenge Antidote right here, and he wins that. More? He certainly wants it,
Enemy remaining.
but Ace, he's gonna find Rexy instead. RBK finding the timing, and now Ace is all alone in the site. He can go for the plant. With the Seeker secure, he can at least be sure that nobody will peek him right now and try to deny the plant. So he's bought himself enough space. And he might sneak in towards the defender entrance, so this could be good. The spike plant position will give away where Ace is, but he still has the opportunity to isolate these 1v1
Oh, and they see the
frags.
Vandal sticking out. They see the Vandal sticking out. They know where he is. Right to Ace. Just... I mean,
don't-
he's gonna learn the lesson the hardest way. No, they do. What?
They-
Did it not... Was the Vandal not sticking out? Am I blind?
I'm
Could
certainly
be, but-
confused.
Yeah, I am too, but Raw Fuel will, manage to take down Right to Ace. More than enough time to get that spike defuse in, but I thought for sure Right to Ace was whistled there with the Vandal sticking out. At least a little tiny part of it.
Maybe with, this HUD, maybe we see something and the players don't. Still, even if you do see a pixel, you gotta be really careful. Plus,
Okay.
you've got the man advantage, so it makes sense that you make sure that you check every position. Nobody should be able to go undetected.
Right.
And
So
just in the previous round, there were so many people going undetected, so it makes sense that they, be very cautious.
here's the question though. If you see just a gun battle sticking out, you don't know what agent there is, right? You just know there is someone there.
Yeah. And usually in a 1v2, that's enough.
Yeah, usually it is, but I don't know, man. It's just, yeah, it's one of those weird instances of Valorant that you really don't think about until it actually happens. And okay, that is a very interesting timing on that Toxin screen and Cloud to go down.
I know.
Catch someone off guard.
It's been pretty good. Like, RVK and his timing of the Toxin screen has been damn good up until now. The only unfortunate thing is, on the back of this Toxin screen, Enigma can play aggressively on mid if they want to. They're choosing not to. They have placed Antidote towards the rope room area. They've placed 2 people on B Heaven, but no aggressive positioning on mid just yet. All they're doing is just hoping the Viper utility keeps Velocity at bay for now, and they just boil down time. They've already boiled it down to 50 seconds, and Velocity have got no real map control on the back of it. They have nothing to show for all this spent time, and now they need to mount an attack based on absolutely no information. So let's see how this one goes. They're gambling towards the Ace side. Once again, Ace has been left to his own devices on mid. And in the past, Enigma have read this. They know that
30
Ace
seconds
usually
left.
is the person staying on mid, and the rest of his team goes towards the Ace side.
You are
If they
divided.
see any utility from Ace, they should see it coming.
Oh wow.
Cosmic Divide is a little late, and Rocky speaks beyond it, gets another frag, falls back to safety, and finally Hellfighter deals with him. But both the Cosmic Divides committed. This could be the difference maker.
10
The Viper
seconds
Spit
left.
from Vibhor can be the one thing that Velocity need to finally seal the deal.
Oh my god, look at Enigma though. This is just a gang of 4 players coming in from A main. They're gonna anticipate this.
Here's the
wall-
important part. Ace is coming in from defender spawn. He knows nobody's coming from screens. All of them will be towards A main, so Velocity can focus in this direction entirely.
Hey, Hellfighter good for one. Deathmaker finds another inside the Viper's pit, but he gets cleaned up by RVK. Caught napping a little bit towards the end. Right to Ace though. Still managed to take down RVK. Antidote in a 1v3, but he can't do it.
Attackers
Enigma.
win.
They fought long, they fought hard, but in the end, it was Velocity's game to lose, and they do not. They will take the second map, make it very, very competitive, and take us to a third one. And I can't wait to see what they've got in store for us on Byte. But man, Velocity, such a dominant first half. Not something I've seen them pull off against a top tier team in a very, very long time. This is, yeah, they came ready for the playoffs.
Oh, they definitely did. Honestly, I did not think that Velocity will be able to win Split, considering that this is Enigma's home map. I thought this would be telegraphic that Enigma make this one through and they take the whole series 2-0. Although I must say that I kind of should have seen this coming. Last time these two teams faced each other, the only map in which Enigma was able to win was 13-2. And if Enigma wins in such a dominant fashion, then naturally Velocity will come up with a counter to it. And this time they used that counter, they made it work, and they beat them 13-6. Tit for tat.
Absolutely. Great stuff coming out from VLT. I mean, they got kicked to the curb once. They did not like that feeling. They turned it back against their opponents. This time around, a very, very dominant first half into a win. Sure, it became a little bit scrappy. They gave away 4-5 rounds that they shouldn't have. Rounds they probably could have won.
Okay.
They should have, but it's fine. Yeah, I mean, VLT, they will happily take this win and move on to Byte. Let's actually have a look at the match highlights and see exactly how VLT managed to do it after that very dominant performance by them. I mean, it just seemed like even though it was a mirrored lineup in terms of agent composition, Velocity just knew what they were doing so much better, right? It was not even about the way they were using their utility, but more about their general play style. It's like you mentioned, one round they leave mid empty, the other round they put 3 people mid. One round there's a cam on a site, another round there's a cam being used aggressively to get some information. How can you predict any of this if you're Enigma, right? You can't. I mean, but this is just the side of VLT thinking on their feet and being really, really quick on it. And in the end, VLT, that's what enables them to sort of get this win. We talked about how Enigma is more flexible, but VLT, they just prove that if you practice something long enough, you're going to find a way to make it work in almost every situation you're in.
Yeah, and every time VLT had their backs against the wall, they pushed through it. Every time Enigma was able to get the opening pick, which, let's be honest, was quite a lot of times. Velocity, they countered it by counter pushing some different part of the map. And they did it simply so that they don't lose everything. Now, most in most situations, the team which has lesser members will not usually make the first move simply because they want to conserve the already less numbers that they have. But Velocity took that risk, and most of the times that risk paid off. So all the early picks that Enigma was getting were kind of getting denied by Velocity because they somehow see it coming. And because of those early impact frags that Velocity was getting, they found information as well, which enabled them to stack a lot of these sites that Enigma was walking into, turning them into live bait traps. So if Enigma is walking into all those traps, there's no way that they can win any of those rounds against Velocity. And that's how this very dominant 10-2 half was possible from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of impact frags, this man Vibhor in this round is the single reason why Enigma had a 10-2 half instead of something like a 9-3 or maybe even an 8-4. This was a great fake coming out from them. Raw Fuel managed to get that frag on B and just put Velocity in such a confusing spot. They figured that the spike is probably going towards A after they heard all those footsteps coming in, but to be able to hold on to that site and just prevent the plant from coming in at all, I mean, that is massive over here. Oh
Another
boy.
moment that Velocity and like we could see what they're truly made of is in this round, where sure it's still a 2v2, but what they did is they forced Rexy into B main. They knew there's one player towards B defender entrance already, so they fight with him first, and then somehow they have to deal with Rexy. But then, of course, right to Ace with that ridiculous spray through the smoke. That was highlight worthy material. But even if you did not get that, I think they did enough to secure the win for themselves.
Yeah. I mean, Velocity, it was just, once they had those 8 rounds, it just never felt like Enigma were ever going to have enough wiggle room to work with unless they really won a couple of very crucial rounds and, managed to break the economy on VLT a little bit in the second half. And that never happened. And the big reason why is the 10-2 half that they had. I mean, this is one of the most hilarious rounds for me, where right to Ace just snuck by, and then Rofuel's like, haha, we're 5 years old, Street Fighter, I use mirror, right back at you, buddy. Managed to get Hellfighter and right to Ace in one fell swoop. So, yeah, Enigma Gaming had some really good moments in this round, but in this game, but it just seemed like Velocity was a step ahead at every single time, and they just saw what Enigma were going to do before Enigma were even able to, just try and adjust to what Velocity might try and pull off. And even though they have all these amazing rounds at the end, it's not really about it's not really about winning a couple of rounds and just outthinking your opponent. No, it's about consistently having a game plan, consistently being able to read what your opponent is doing, consistently having a way to bait them into giving up their positions or at least giving up some information. And VLT did none of that. Enigma, they poked and they prodded, but man, VLT, their lips were shut.
Yeah. The only time they opened was to whisper wrong information into the ears of Enigma and fill their heads full of deceit. So many times we found Ace in a situation where he's selling a fake on mid or something and his team is going A. Now, Enigma, in that aspect, were good enough to figure out that Velocity is doing this and they call their bluff. But that was it. That was the only time Enigma saw a Velocity fake come through. Every time else, Velocity was able to make that count. Now, whether it's RBK trying to sell a fake on Enigma or whether it's Raw Fuel hitting the shots on any part of the map, Velocity never bought the bait that Enigma was trying to sell. But the other thing, if you flip the table, I can't really say the same because Velocity were pretty damn good at reading Enigma, and not just reading them, to some extent, even forcing out errors from Enigma.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing, right? Forced and unforced errors. I mean, this game, it was a lot of forced errors from the side of VLT. They just forced Enigma into giving up a lot of information, giving up a lot of positions, and just played around with them. I mean, like who the hell does that, right? Who the hell leaves mid one round, then puts three in the next one, and just makes it so that Enigma never really know how to approach it. I mean, they had to come up with a solid game plan of their own, but just the amount of randomness that VLT were generating just seemed like Enigma couldn't deal with it. Well, VLT will have to do that one more time if they want to take this series, because there's still one map remaining in the mix, and that's Bind. But if you want to find out what's going to happen, you're going to have to wait for a little bit, because we're going to be jumping into a break. Until then, you're watching LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Gauntlet Season 3, powered by Crucial, along with our apparel partner 656, our accessories partner Cosmic Byte, and our esports partner Aimlab. We'll be back in just a bit.
the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
The odds are high, the scores are even, and the match is as close and as nail biting as it can get. You guys are watching the LG Ultragear presents TEC Gauntlet Season 3, powered by Crucial, battle partner 6x6, accessories partner Cosmic Byte, and our esports partner Aimlab. This series is everything that we could have asked for in the up bracket final. Hell, this might just be worthy enough of the grand final because both these teams have won out each other's map picks.
Oh yeah, I mean this is about as interesting as it gets, and now we move on to Bind, a map that was very interesting to watch the first time it came around. We were very curious about the different play styles that people would adopt on this map, and now we go back to that same old map once again. No fracture, no breeze, none of those shenanigans, just good old Bind. And boy, am I excited to see how this map plays out. You know, I was talking about a KO pick, and if there's ever a map that is made for that agent, well,
No,
this is not it. Is it?
this is
Okay, then.
I would disagree.
Well, Marcel has picked up KO on this one, so you know there's a chance. I wouldn't just completely toss it out of the window, Crips. You don't have to be a killjoy, but yep, maybe we get to see a KO. Hopefully, we get to see a breach. That would be nice. I mean, a breach was always fun on mine, but yeah. Apart from that, I'm not too sure what to anticipate on this one. I imagine there's going to be a wiper, obviously. But do
Yeah.
you go for the double controller setup on a map like Bind, or do you instead opt for something like a double duelist, which there's really a big difference in philosophies there, isn't it?
There is. There's quite a lot of difference, but Bind is one of those maps which gives you the flexibility to do whatever you want. Double controller, sure, why not? Double duelist, go for it. A double initiator is also very well appreciated on this map. In fact, we have seen quite a lot of teams go for the double duelist. No, I'm sorry, no. Scratch that. We have seen them go for the double controller, initiator, but only a single duelist. We have seen them do that too. But because this map is so up in the air and so flexible, for the lack of a better word, we won't have to theory craft too much. We can jump into the agent selection directly and see what these guys have going for. Okay, I see a double duelist already. All right, Floki. It seems like your theory is indeed what these players believe in.
Yeah, even I didn't believe in it, but I guess now I do. Marcel picking up the Raze. Obviously, Raze is a very, very good agent on this map. Lots of vertical, places that you can exploit. Lots of great ways to satchel in and out of places. But most importantly, the tiny crevices and entrances to this map make it so that boombot and paint shells are really hard to deal with. And that showstopper too can just shut down a push in its entirety if it's all lopsided, right? So yeah, BLT and Enigma, they're both gonna have that raise up in their alley here. But what else do they go for? We see a Viper on the side of Enigma. We see a Viper and an Astra on the side of Velocity. They're holding on to right to Ace's pick. There could be a Breach over here. There could also be a Sova here. There could also be a Sky. But right to Ace is gonna stick to the good old Sova. And once again, a mirrored lineup. Okay.
All these teams have had mirrored lineups, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Icebox was also mirrored, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Icebox was mirrored, Split was mirrored, and now so was Bind. Both these teams just being carbon copies of each other, but like carbon does, only one of them can survive, and some of them will perish over here. Let's see which one of these teams goes ahead in the upper bracket, and which one of them will be relegated to the lower one. We're stepping into the final map of the series, ladies and gentlemen. Let's head into the game.
Absolutely. Diamonds and coals, both made of carbon, although only one is more valuable than the other. An Enigma,
One burns brightly.
yeah, and the other apparently is forever, but that's just a lie told to you by Diamond Company, so don't believe that. Just buy a cheaper engagement ring. But yeah, life advice aside, this should be a rather interesting matchup. So I see the side of Enigma, or sorry, rather VLT starting out on attack, and they're grouping up outside A main. It's going to be a two-pronged approach, 3 towards shot, 2 towards bathrooms. Let's see if they can make this work. Okay, this is not... Okay, that just doesn't work out for them. But do they expect Rexy? No, Rexy goes for the shoulder peek instead. Shock dart to delay. And he's got a bunch of utility. No armor on him whatsoever. So he is just looking to survive over here. Hopefully going for the retake. Forced into a fight though. Can't run away from that and gets cleaned up. They've got so much control now. The spike should be planted in. And even though there's two people coming in from the flank, they should have an idea that this is coming.
And this plant, it's out in the open. It can be defended by Raw Fuel, who's directly under Heaven. It can also be defended by players who are playing towards Sparth. Also, all the players towards U-Haul. So that's what Velocity have gone for. A 3 versus 5 retake situation, and Hika already plays his hand out. This nade will only clear out the corner, and they have spotted only one player in this region, so they have to find the remaining ones. Deathmaker getting killed, that's big. Now everybody else is focused towards U-Haul, and if this snake fight continues to stay in the way, then they can't peek out of it. Now they're starting to pour out of the alleyways, and the bodies are being dumped into the sewers. Everyone just turning this whole place into a shooting gallery, but the time has gone too far, and there's nothing left for them to defuse now. RBK gets the ace, but at what cost?
Yeah, I mean, a great way for Enigma to start the game if only they actually won the round. Yeah. But it's Velocity who get credit for that, so a very successful A-take coming out from them. I mean, I have to say, for a moment that I thought Enigma was actually going to get this. They shouldn't have, in all honesty. They didn't have the numbers. It just didn't make sense. But RVK says, neither does my aim. And, you know, you praise me all the same. So just shut up and watch me go to work. Unfortunately, doesn't actually result in anything fruitful here. Only one round win. And RVK, you know, he's not even going to go in for any sort of buy. He's very happy with the fact that he's got 3,000 creds. He's just going to save up. And he sneaked past. Puts the toxin screen down, but to his dismay, there's Muzzle right around the corner. Now it's Hika's turn. try and stop this push from coming in. Paint shells at the ready will stop him, but the reverse paint shells, in turn, do not catch him. Deathmaker, though, finds two, and Marshall just shuts them all down. A very, very quick round from Velocity. 1-2, and Enigma, they're down on the ground, tapping out.
And they did not even lose armor.
Yeah,
They're losing players. They didn't even lose armor. They have to invest
That is
absolutely
big.
0 credits back in this game, in this round.
Yeah, except for utility, these guys are looking great. This is... Wow, I mean, that's... How much? That's like at least an extra 1,000 creds saved? Great stuff
Yeah.
by VLT. This potentially set... If they get the spike plant down, they could potentially be looking at 2 consecutive buys for them. And Enigma just don't have the sort of economy to match that pace if they're going to lose players left and right. Rexy, quick to break the recon dart, gets pulled inside Bath, but he's okay for now. Because no one's really peeking him. Slower approach from VLT this time. They are trying to wait for Enigma to make the first mistake.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Enigma have this bigger guns this time around. They will be the ones to take all the angles first. But instead, Enigma are not holding the first contact angles. They're playing it a little from behind. The first point of contact over here will be hookup, but look at the desperation on them. You have Rafael already pulling out the operator in the third round itself. You don't often see him do that. Rafael is the kind of conservative person who doesn't pull out the big guns until his team absolutely needs it, but now he's done that. A Viper's Pit on the Beast side. It doesn't cover too much of B long, so there's still an opportunity for VLT to move past, but still, it's gonna discourage them at least a little bit.
Yep. Oh, Marshall. Ouch, I think he got hit in the head through the wall there. Gets dropped down to 17 points of life now. There's no one to heal him
30
back up,
seconds
so
left.
this is what he's got to work with. VLT really wanted to put the bonus up, but they've wasted so much time in this round that now they just have to commit to one side. Marshall gonna be the sacrificial lamb, goes in, sprays wildly, does tag up Antidote a little bit, but Antidote will be alive. Although not super healthy. RVK lands to the slaughter, or is it? Hellfighter finds him. And the spike is on him. He's actually going to get that spike down. Hika just needs to make sure that he's able to deny the spike, but he can't do so because there's right to ace towards Hika, being a complete thorn on his side, forcing him to get the reload going. And now right to ace just needs to stop this push from coming through. Hellfighter with the smoke will prevent them from pushing in. Gets into a decent cubby position. And right to is going to look to maintain some sort of crossfire, leaving Elbow completely open. This could be dangerous, but Enigma, they're not going towards Elbow. They're instead coming in all from the same place, and they're lighting up for Hellfighter and right to ace. 3 kills for the man in VLT. They start off strong, come out swinging, left hook, right hook, straight to the ground.
Oh, that's a big knockout over there. Velocity, they win not only the bonus round, but also the buy round. Now they can afford all the weapons in the build. The crossfire, it wasn't all that impressive, but that's all that they could do, and they made it work so beautifully. First, it was the person inside the metal boxes in the side making noise. That's when the Jet dashed in using the Cloud Burst, and they didn't clear out that corner, and that's an easy double kill. Turn around, swing past, easy 1-2 combination, and that's Velocity with the win. And now Enigma back on Sheriffs.
Yep. Enigma just gonna be looking to get some one-taps going in, but Vibhor finds Antidote as he got tagged up by the drone there. And once again, this flank, I mean, it's already being watched by Hellfighter, so there's not gonna be much coming in for the way of Enigma here. So patient, looking to line up the both of them, sprays them down. And Hellfighter, he did say in a recent interview that he hasn't really been feeling himself, but this match should be making him feel a lot better, because I have to say, this BO3, there's been situations where Hellfighter has had to clutch it out, and he's been delivering. So I hope he's able to mentally just get out of that slump that he said he was in.
Although I think that's probably gonna put the players of Enigma in a slump. Consider this, they are on an eco, they don't have much to lose, so they decide to play aggressively. Why not? Right? It's just an eco, they're supposed to lose it anyway. And on a round like that, they find Hellfighter camping outside of the cave. Why would anyone be holding that passively so late into the round when the enemy's on an eco? That's definitely gonna tilt them a little bit. At least now they get some information, right? At least now they know that Velocity are not afraid to hit the brakes.
Yep. RVK even toss on an XD, just so you guys know. I mean, that's how surprised he was about Hellfighter's positioning. But VLT this time around, they're showing strong presence towards a Bath. They're trying to get some information. That drone will spot out Rexy, but that's all they're going to find. And Antidote finds Marzel. That should alert them that something is up towards A. This could potentially be an A take coming in, and now you can see Hika trying to peek his head outside of Hookah to get some information, but that smoke blocking his line of sight for the time being. And oh, that timing with Bor. Just unfortunate. No one saw him. That was just pure random spam coming in from Rexy.
Yeah, but it was questionable in the first place. The toxin screen that Vibhor put up, it covers his teammate as they're going in from a shot. It doesn't cover them as they're heading bathroom. So this was just a beat push that was supposed to draw in enemy fire in the first place, and that's exactly what it did. It drew in enemy fire, got the kills, and now Hellfighter's gonna have to dig deep over here. Gets the first frag, but he knows that there's two players towards the side. How does he protect his teammate from that, and how does he clear room for the spike to be planted? I don't think it's possible. There's barely any time left. Ace though, with that massive shock dart kill, he can actually change things. He can go for the spike plant, but there's Hika already behind him, and that's Enigma winning the first round. It all crumbled when Vibhor went down. It was supposed to be just a brawly fight in the first place. They just wanted to get a pick, maybe fall back. I don't think Velocity had any clear intentions of fighting in that region in the first place. They just wanted to maintain control of it so that Enigma don't push and backstab them. Because this toxin screen that Vibhor has put up just now is the same one that he put up in the previous one, and all it does is cover some room for your team to move in towards the default area and plant. That too via A shot, not via bath.
Yep. And now VLT, well, they were saving up their money. It's gonna be... Yep.
Not the best smoke cloud that we have seen from him.
Definitely not the best. We're just a little bit off the money on that one. But there's the Hunter's Fury to deny the platform coming in. Rexy is instead gonna find Vibhor. Oh no, Vibhor! Crime and punishment. You miss a smoke. Rexy is gonna punish you with the Hunter's Fury. Oh boy. Well, they get the plant down. It's a 4v5 for VLT. Can they hold on to this? It's actually a 4v4. Marshall finds Hika and makes it a 4v3. Pulls out the showstopper. Can he find Rexy with it? No, Rexy dodges. And Raw Fuel. Oh my god, Rexy actually found Marshall with a shock dart. Raw Fuel found DM as well. Leaving right to Ace in a clutch situation. And he can't pull through. Rexy just on fire since these past few rounds. Gotta say.
He's not just on fire, he's channeling all the plasma energy of the cosmos into that Hunter's Fury, denying the plant, getting the kills as well. And keep in mind that this was on the back of Ace's Hunter's Fury too. So both the Sovas popped their ultimates in this round, hoping to clear out some space. Of course, Ace does it to clear out the common angles and make sure that his teammates don't have to worry about smokes getting missed or utility getting misplaced. That's just an insurance policy of sorts. But man, insurance is built to protect you against accidents, and Rexy, he's a truck headed your way at full speed.
Yeah, that's not an accident. That's a demolition. That is a destruction, yeah. It's a drive-by, if anything, and we'll see if the side of VLT can stabilize. Now on a bit of an... Well, not really an eco, actually. They've got all the Vandals and Phantoms in the world to work with, and they're still going to have enough money left over in the next round to buy up again. I mean, Deathmaker can drop his weapon, pull out the knives if needed. So, yeah, VLT doing quite fine in terms of economy. It's Enigma, really, who is swimming against the tide over here. Although the past few rounds, they have made them a little bit comfortable, and they are aware of positioning. How did Rafuel find two there? What? I just thought he got the one. Vibhor, well, he's going to take the initiative himself, get Hika, get some lamps control, but Avik is still on the side as he gets one. And he's prevented Vibhor from pushing up any further, so he's going to retreat back to the cover of A Heaven and look to deny the plant from there if possible.
Yeah, but he's so low on health, he has to fall back, regroup with his teammates, and give up the site to Vibhor. At least the silver lining is Vibhor is not the spike carrier, so even if you let Vibhor lurk around on the A side, it's not going to result in a plant. They still need to find Hellfighter though, and he was spotted towards Hookah just a couple of seconds ago. Now the question is, does Vibhor join Hellfighter on B, or does Hellfighter join Vibhor on A? I think they'll find the answer soon. Again, they're not playing on the back of that toxin screen that Vibhor has put up. Now he activates. Wait, that's not even Vibhor's toxin screen. That's RVK's toxin screen. They're not using his toxin screen at all for advantage. But fine, I guess they don't need to right now. They've got the plant, and now the post-one positions are also pretty good. In fact, Vibhor might even go unchecked over here, especially when Hellfighter has been farmed. Rexy coming in from bathroom was the only thing that could have saved them. 1v3 required, and Raw Fuel smarter this time around. Hellfighter does not anticipate him in the corner.
Yeah, once again, Enigma, great stuff by them. Their economy, it might not be as good as Velocity's, but they're certainly keeping their head in the game and not really stressing the bigger picture, right? Because many a times that's what happens to teams. They start stressing out the bigger picture. They're like, oh, guys, we don't really have the economy. Oh, guys, we probably need to eco this round. They let that get to their head. Not Enigma, though. Enigma, eyes on the prize, baby. I mean, they have been just trying to predict what VLT have been doing so far, being a lot more proactive on a map like Bind, where you do have to be. Otherwise, if you just let the opponents get into a site, retaking it can be a little bit difficult when you're at a man disadvantage. It's difficult in any scenario, but especially on Bind, where the entrance is just so choky and just so easy to watch all of them. But yeah, the side of Enigma, they have been fairly competing against Velocity, stringing together 3 rounds in a row. Can they find the fourth one though and equalize it? Because if they're able to win this round, I think that is maybe when VLT's economy starts looking a little bit shaky. For now, they still got enough credits on Marzel, Right to Ace, and Helef to get a buy going. So it's not that big of an issue, but in the next round, it could be a problem if they don't win out. Velocity still have the lead though by 1 round, and Crips, to be honest with you, by now they should be having some sort of read on how Enigma are playing these rounds. So they could just potentially spring back forward and continue building that lead that they built early on in the game.
Well, so far, whatever lead they built up in the first 4 rounds has been negated. Velocity winning 4 in a round, then Enigma winning 3 again. So both these teams are working to destroy each other's economy while somehow trying to snowball themselves. Except, you're in the middle of a desert.
There we go.
What snowball will you go for? Never mind.
Here.
Deathmaker, he's not a snowball, he's a wrecking ball. And another one, just disrespecting his opponents with dry peaks. You're not allowed to win 3 goddamn engagements
Last
back to
player
back.
standing.
And Marzel finding RBK swinging around his knife. Oh,
Yep.
it's just disgusting how some of these rounds pan out.
Absolutely. Deathmaker about to give DJ Khaled a run for his money
Spike
as he
planted.
gets one after the other and another. But it's only going to be Hika surviving this round, and I think he's probably going to go in for the save here. Economy, I mean, it's not bad, but, a weapon saved in this round could go a long way for the side of Enigma here, so that's just what he's going to look to do. Vibhor, dot your I's, cross your T's, check your corners, and you will find Hika.
Well, they've certainly done their homework.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know,
And
man.
now-
It's unorthodox how Velocity won that round. A 3-stack on B long, and Deathmaker somehow just wins the duel with them. It's not
Yeah.
even like he had any backup. No fancy flashes from his teammates. His team doesn't even have a flash. Nobody on the game has a flash. No recon darts to preemptively reveal positions. No cloudburst to isolate angles. Nothing. Just plain old mouse one. Dry
Yep.
peeking them and winning all 3 of those duels.
Don't need wall hacks in your game when you have wall hacks in your brain. As DM, they just lined them up one after the other, man. That was insane. I mean, winning 1, okay. Winning 2, amazing. Winning 3, ridiculous. Come on.
Come on, I swear to God. And now
And-
he's
and he-
holding the same angle.
Yeah, he's looking to repeat that same success that he had earlier, but this time around, VLT, well, they're going to go for a slightly different approach. They do help out Deathmaker with the owl, and he's still just a strong muzzle. Barely misses out on getting Rexy, though, but he's tucked into a corner there. That gravity well and paint shells. Oh, no, that's the combo that they were looking for. And he gets absolutely cleaned up. Hika looking to spam on the back of his boombot, but doesn't really connect on anyone. That's Satchel preventing them from coming in. RBK, on a bit of a journey of his own outside A over here. Didn't quite get the memo. So, yeah, just going to be holding on and trying to save their weaponry again. Enigma, got to respect the discipline. They realize that even though, even though they've not managed to find any kills this round, giving up any weapons at this point, even though one of them is a judge, is just kind of pointless. They would much rather just take this weapon into the next round, scrap together maybe a Sheriff or a Frenzy for a couple of them. An Antidote, yeah, you can see. This, I mean, sure, he doesn't get the kill over there, but he had no armor to work with, so, how much can you really expect of him? Hika, he needs to save this Vandal for sure. He can't afford to give it up. Oh, no, but they find them. They find both
That too
RBK and Hika.
And that too after the timer expired. So now they don't even get the money, nor do they get to keep their weapons.
Aye, aye, aye. That is painful, my friend. Enigma.
Did the timer expire on them? It was milliseconds of difference, but still, if it was after the timer expired and after the spike was detonated, they would have been so much worse off. No matter what the outcome, the bottom line is they do not have money, and it's once again Enigma with just pennies and pocket lint.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure at this point that the pocket lint is going to be more valuable than the pennies they have. At least going to give them some soft corner. VLT has given them none. So,
Nah,
6
haven't even given them a quarter.
Covering it.
Yeah, not even a dime, not even a penny. Nothing, nada. An antidote, well, he spots out the boom bot, some information, but, you know, this is just not gonna happen. And Raw Fuel, I mean, he is their only hope, but Marcel, what? That was a flick and a half. Almost instantly started looking in Raw Fuel's direction. The satchels will not hurt him, but Antidote and Rexy just okay. Double peek, win their individual 1v1s, upgrade to a bunch of Vandals. And guess what, Rexy? Well, dotting your I's, crossing your T's, that is what Rexy does. Although Deathmaker does get into an annoying position, and even though he's been discovered, it's going to be kind of hard to sort of flush him out from there.
30 seconds
Vibor in the
left.
meantime is holding the flank, making sure they don't get too much out of this one, and he's going to chime right back as he manages to take down Raw Fuel and Antidote. Makes it a 3v3 again. And
Yeah,
Deathmaker
and-
still being a pest on the B side.
Yeah, and while that's happening, the spike has been recovered by these people. So now they know where Deathmaker is, but they also know where the spike is. If Rexy could have stayed alive over
10
there,
seconds
he
left.
could have denied the spike plant and made this round even harder. But now it's not going to be possible anymore. The two remaining defenders, both of them away from each other, no
Spike
trading potential
planted.
over here. And Hika, sure, he does get the kill onto
Satchel out.
the server, but now what does he do? He's got the
Yeah.
showstopper in case something goes wrong, but keep in mind there are ultimates available on the other side as well. And he's
Yeah,
been
and-
spotted.
He doesn't even have the satchels to just give himself a good bounce in the air with that showstopper so he can maybe get a kill. You can see he's a little bit afraid in Deathmaker. Who needs to hear? I mean, never mind. You know, he didn't even need to hear where he was. He just gave his position away right away.
Yeah.
With those shots. Yeah, just painful to look at. And now Enigma, well, they've got to buy together, but they're down 4 rounds and they are on defense. So, yep. I mean, I don't know what they've got on offense, but clearly it doesn't seem like, as of now, they have a very solid game plan. And VLT, they're rolling in the money, so the economy is not going to be an issue for them. They can't afford to lose this round. But they would like to win one.
They might. There's 3 ultimates available on Team Enigma. RVK hasn't used the Viper's Pit. I thought he would really use it right away and probably lock out one of the sides, but maybe he's saving it for the next round. In case VLT try to plant, Rexy can use the Hunter's Fury to deny it. Hika, obviously, with the Showstopper, can be a menace no matter where he goes. And VLT, if they get the plant in this round, then Hellfighter can use his Viper's Pit, stop it, deny it. They got the opening picks. Vibor is winning all the duels. They're getting picks on A and on B. So right now, they've won their aim duels, but the spike is still all the way towards the attacking spawn. They don't even need the spike plan. They can just win all of this. But
Okay.
Rexy and RVK, yeah, now the 2 players are starting to make it expensive. And both of them have been discovered towards other parts of the map. So if Rexy dies, they know for a fact that RVK is no longer close and they can go for the plant safely. They don't even want to go for the plant. Deathmaker could have killed him right there, but maybe RVK's hurt the reload. He knows Deathmaker's up there, and that's some information. But what does he do about the other 2 players?
Yeah, RVK, this is just Miss Misery. I mean, gravity well in one side, being detected by the drone, being made vulnerable, 3 people charging him at once. Good for the 1 kill, but Deathmaker's like, that's all you're good for. I will avenge the fallen. I will avenge my buddy.
Last round
8-3
before
now
the
in Enigma. I don't look at their economy. Close your eyes.
Just hope for the best. Put together everything you got, everything that you can afford.
2 Spectres and a Bulldog. Utility probably going to be sacrificed to an extent over here in this round just so they can have their weapons up and running, but VLT can play this a lot more patiently. One thing I do want to point out though, VLT, even if they're trying to play patient, I don't think they should give up more map control than necessary over here. Let's see though, I could just be wrong about my question. Well, Marcel says, yeah, what is that thing about being a little bit conservative? I didn't quite catch you. Goes in with a showstopper, whiffs, but that's okay. Space has been created. Antidote will find him in turn, finds two. In fact, can he find the third? No, he makes it back to safety. And now Deathmaker picks up the spike, runs away back towards safety after it being a 4v3 in favor of Enigma. He's looking for another pick here. Antidote is so cheeky. Same position, 3 kills. Hika's on the flash. Oh, Deathmaker. Some wild flailing there, but in the end, stabilizes and gets the kill on Hika, making it a 2v3.
Yeah, but you gotta consider this. Even though Enigma have the man advantage, the two players that died were very important. Hika died without using his showstopper. Rexy died without using his Hunter's Fury. Now RBK, it's the last round of the half, and he still hasn't used his Viper's Spit. These are some big red flags on the side of Enigma. So even if they win this round, it's fine. Their ultimates have been horribly misutilized in this entire half.
I mean, you need to utilize your ultimates in order to misutilize them. I didn't see an ultimate coming in from Hika. So, not quite sure about that. Not been having the best of games
All
with
of
man.
them. Literally everyone taking their ultimates to the grave.
Yeah. Trying to save it for the next generation, you know, passing it on for the next
kinda like-
BO3.
Next generation. We saw how Boruto turned out, so don't go there.
Oh boy. What's a Boruto?
I'm glad you asked that. It's a Mexican dish. It's not the son of Naruto.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I genuinely thought for a second it was a Mexican dish.
Oh, we might just have a Mexican standoff over here. 3 players stacked towards A, and the moment I say that, one of them moves over towards B. No problem, even Enigma have a little default of their own, spreading out all throughout the map. RB takes a bullet to the brain, but he survives, even though he's hemorrhaging internally. Luckily, the spike has not been spotted yet, so VLT have some information, but they can't take any actions on the back of it.
Mazel is up to some dirty deeds towards Hookah. Vibor is the bait, and we'll see if Mazel can get away with this. Oh, Hika about to check, but Mazel, dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Finds Hika, Vibor gets the cherry on top, it's Antidote. And RVK on 8 HP chimes back, so he managed to find Hellfighter. But can he do more over here?
Oh my god, the people converge upon Hookah from teleporters, from Link. Everyone comes through as soon as the spike is dropped in. Once Velocity find that spike, they guard it with their lives. They build a fortress around it, keep everyone outside. And they just take so much control the moment they find that nuclear football.
Yeah, I mean, they genuinely need to up the game a little bit here, Enigma, because this is starting to look a little bleak. VLT winning that pistol, now they got the 10th round in the back, potentially, unless they make some sort of, glorious mistake. But, yeah, Enigma, if they don't step up soon enough, then they are going to be in some deep, deep trouble, potentially only playing for overtime. And if they win this round, it could be big for them, but Deathmaker has just said, nope, not today. RVK gets cleaned up outside bathroom. That's their lurk taken out of the picture. And I think I think they found some information towards B as well. They probably heard... They saw someone. Well, they see one with the drone. Raw fuel's gonna be spotted as well. AD's like, you know what? I can't hide behind it. There's it. Even though I'm a jet, I'm slim as slim can be. That pillar is just not big enough to cover my entire body. There you go. 3v5 now. Enigma trying to make something happen here, but them just having no map control. It's gonna be extremely difficult. Oh boy. I mean, Hiccup even gets bullied around by that satchel, and 10-4 it is. Enigma, maybe moving into the first buy round, but the pressure, it's really starting to weigh on them, and they've got the whole world on their shoulders. Not the whole world, only their own world, but yeah, it is a pretty heavy load to bear.
Yeah, now we know what Brimstone feels like every time that finisher pops up.
Yep. Now we know
Either way,
what it feels like to
do what?
To walk in his shoes, you know, just those busted kneecaps.
Boomers all around this. Either way, now in the previous round you must have seen how Deathmaker was able to get that one kill towards Path, but everyone else is focusing on B. they were stacking up the B side even before Enigma showed their hand. So the read from Velocity was there. And it's there this time around too. There are 2 people guarding the Hukai region, which is important, but they are not able to get the kills, and Velocity just losing their heads all over the place. On a swivel they go. Marzel makes it across to safety. But the last 2 members have been spotted on B, and RVK is already cleared up A, so the spike's heading that way.
Okay, I mean, A is completely clear. This is interesting. They're gonna be able to get the spike down, and yeah, VLT, they just don't have what it takes to go in for this retake. They're gonna try nonetheless, though, because money's not an issue for them. So if they can stop Enigma from building up this economy, this could be absolutely big. But Enigma, they're gonna be well aware about this, and they're gonna play this as disciplined as they possibly can. Rexy, he found the flank, and now they just need to get Hellfight. Okay, buddy. Yep, you want to do some damage here. Let's see how much he can do with that Guardian.
Even if he doesn't win the round, he can definitely win a hearts with these crispy shots.
Yep, Hika lucky to survive on 1 HP and make sure the Vandal sees the light of day in the next one. But Enigma, their economy, sort of just down in the dumps right now, and they don't even have a Blade Storm ready for raw fuel, so you can pull those knives out and, you know, just help the bleeding economy on the side of Enigma a little bit. But
They have enough.
Let him-
Just enough in this round. Like, 2 Vandals, 1 Phantom. Sure, there's a Bulldog on RVK, but Rawfuel's got the Judge, and he's a Jet, so he can cover up the distance, make the shotgun go up close and personal. But against Deathmaker, with an AWP, I don't know how much you can do. There's only 2 defenders on the A side, so if this rush goes through in full force, they will crumble. He's already inside of U-Halls, but the Judge doesn't pay off any dividends. Vibor defends it with his life, and he's got more utility just to keep the enemies off of this area. They have no choice. One of them jumps into the teleporter, hoping to sell the fake and keep the VLT forces still towards the B side, but they're not buying it. They call their bluff, and this A side, it's not showing any cracks. Enigma, they get so deep, even beyond the trucks, even beyond U-Haul, but if they can't get the kills, they cannot go for the plant.
my man, Vibor, you need to chill out, bro. Like, what the hell is that classic? Ridiculous. VLT, 5 to 11, and soon enough, Enigma, well, they're gonna be looking at 5 to 12. Tough decisions now. Crips, you're Enigma. Do you force the buy, or do you go in for the overtime?
Thank God I'm not in their shoes, honestly. What I would do is probably get some cheap weapons, somehow get Rexy and Raw Fuel and Ultimate Orb. Rexy is 1 point away from Hunter's Fury. This could be big in clearing out the sites. Raw Fuel, you get him that Hunter, the Blade Storm, and you will be able to get at least a couple of kills, but Hika's already dead. That's one of the key duelists out of the picture, and Hika's not been having a good game. And now even Raw Fuel said, at least he's gonna have the Blade Storm guaranteed in the next round, but again, that's velocity and map point. Series point, actually.
Yep, series point, and you know that second map for them, it looked a little bit dicey. I mean, sorry, the first, no, it was the first map that looked dicey. It was the first map that Enigma won. Jeez, what am I saying? But yeah, ever since the second map, it doesn't seem like you know, Enigma have been in the driver's seat for the majority of these games. It's just been the VLT show, and this show, it's well, they're looking to end it pretty soon. The scoreline being 5 to 11, they kind of want to make sure that Enigma don't get more than they deserve. And yeah, Antidote, he's just going to be very, very happy if he just gets that spike planted, you know, gets some extra money in their pockets the next round.
That's all I hope for. I just hope they either go for the spike plant or they die, because if they do neither, they're going to be stuck in the next round with no money left. 20 seconds in the round, and Rexy goes in for the push. Hellfighter is getting sucked inside by the gravity well, but it doesn't matter to him.
Yep. Spike plant denied, and Hellfighter, he was even spamming that wall after he got sucked in by the gravity well to try and finish off Antidote, who had jumped down. And there you go, that's match point. 5 to 12 now, but Enigma, there is a silver lining to this dark cloud, and that is that they have a bye together. It's the only bye that they have, though. The last hurrah, the final countdown.
Oh my god. It is the
Well-
countdown, and if they don't make it, then they'll be in the lower brackets.
Revealing area.
That is a very interesting recon, that it's gonna give them so much information towards, well,
The
A
top
main, but
area.
there's no one over there. Yeah, they
Yeah,
don't see anyone, and that enables Muzzle to push.
Yeah, and because he's already on the backstab, he can get into its cave right now. Nobody's watching that region. And the lack of a sentinel means that the backstab will most likely go undetected.
No, but he's not going towards cave. He's trying to go towards A shot
yeah.
instead. And there
Yeah,
you
there
go.
he can
There's
detect.
RVK. Yep. I mean, okay, this is very heads up stuff coming in from RVK. The fact that he recognized that recon dart came in towards A shot, you don't do that without. I mean, sorry, came in towards bathroom. You don't do that without a purpose. You know, you don't do that without a plan. So just making sure that Marcel doesn't get free real estate. Although he could have also been in caves, and RVK was just 50-50 at best, but still doing the best he can here. And now Deathmaker gonna look to find some picks. Right to A, starts things off with the Hunter's Fury, finds
Oh my
two
God.
kills. Oh boy, Antidote and Rexy bite the dust, and sure, Hika finds Hellfighter, but it's a 2v4, and Deathmaker's operator is still in
enemy
play.
remaining.
Right to Ace will clean up RVK. Hika's gonna get cleaned up as well. GG is called. It is gonna be the side of Velocity who face up against EXO in the winners bracket final for this playoff season in the Tec Gauntlet Season 3. Enigma, they'll have to continue their journey in the lower bracket.
And now you know where Sova wears a cape. The man is a superhero. He's flying in the air with the massive laser beam in his hands. And that's how you get a frag. That's why you wear the cape. You're a goddamn superhero. You can fly. Who's Jet? Sovas can fly over here. Either way, Velocity with a very, very impressive win this time around. They counter-strike the hell out of Enigma Gaming. And credit where credit is due, Enigma did put up a decent bit of fight. It's not like they did not try. There are so many things that they tried, but Velocity was just so much better. Let's just take a look at the highlights and see some of these rounds where Enigma could have found success, but they crumbled because the margin in which some of these rounds came down to, it was very narrow. And we start off with the very first round where RVK getting a penta kill, but I wouldn't call it an ace if it wasn't a win. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's a bit unfortunate.
absolutely. I mean, an ace, but at what cost, right?
Yeah. Either way, we continue through, and for the first few rounds, Velocity seems they have it under control. The first real challenge comes through when Enigma have a buy round and Velocity is only on a bonus, and this massive crossfire between Hellfighter and Right to Ace, it works out. Hellfighter, he makes a little bit of noise deliberately. I'm sorry, not Hellfighter. Ace makes a little bit of noise directly towards the bench region, and then Hellfighter just cleans them up. And then there's rounds like these when Deathmaker is just individually winning aim duels. Like at that point, if you're Enigma, what do you even do?
Yeah.
You did everything correctly. RVK dying with knives in his hand. Deathmaker getting triple kills by just simply dry peeking. It's not even like there was somebody next to Deathmaker to trade. No, it's just that man.
Yeah.
And when stuff like that's happening, you will feel nothing but frustrated if you're Enigma.
Yeah, and let's just give a shout out to the overall callings on the side of Velocity, right? Because Enigma were clawing their way back in the game early on, if you remember. They managed to take 3 rounds, make it 3-4. And slowly but surely, they were chipping away at Velocity's economy. You know, even though Velocity had won like a couple of rounds in a row, they only had one more buy in the tank before they had to call in for an eco. So they take a very well-timed timeout. They try and figure out, talk to each other about how to deal with Enigma, and instantly they win a round. Sure, it is Deathmaker just winning individual duels all by himself, but even then, you know, for them to be able to conserve that lead and hold on to it and just prevent Enigma Gaming from ever coming back upon their feet, absolutely massive stuff. And even though Enigma, they had enough money left in for one buy, even though they lost that round after that, it never really bore as much fruit. Velocity Gaming, they had that early lead, they capitalized on it, they built up, and when the enemy started, closing in on them, instant timeout. They're like, you know what? Let's just try and figure out what they're doing and put a halt to this before it gets any worse. And I think that's probably the biggest lesson that a lot of people can learn from this game. It's just that when the best time to take a timeout is not after the problem arises, but it's anticipating what the problem could be and taking a timeout preemptively to try and correct for that. I mean, if Velocity had not taken that timeout, I imagine that Enigma could have just been on a tear basically and actually just, completely taken over the lead that Velocity Gaming had earlier.
So Velocity called the timeout and they discussed things. They make sure that they are all on the same page. They utilize their resources correctly, and they win it. They have been given timeouts, so they take them. You know who did not capitalize on their utilities correctly? It's Enigma Gaming. So many of these times, these players just died without using their ultimates at all. I mean, RVK had the Viper Spit available for so long, I didn't see him deploy it. Hector
Yeah.
dying with the showstopper in his pocket. Rexy had a Hunter's Fury available. I don't really blame Lexi. He was picked off in a very unorthodox way, so I assume he would have been saving his Hunter's Fury for when the plant came through, but he didn't. He just never got a chance to use it. But
Yep.
what about the other ultimates? They could have been used a lot better. They could have been just used. Whether they turn out better or not, that's a completely different story. But you can't just die with them in your grave without using them the entire half.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, them being good as an afterthought when you're not even popping them. So, yeah, Enigma, they just sort of, it just seems like they got outdone by that one timeout that VLT called. You know what I would have really liked to see? Enigma instantly calling a timeout after that timeout coming in from VLT in the next round, being like, okay, you know what? They took a timeout. Time for us to take a timeout and try and make sure VLT's lead does get disrupted a little bit, that we are able to snatch it right out of their mouths and put the ball in our favor a little bit. But yeah, for those of you who missed out on the games earlier today, well, this is what happened. Enigma, they won Icebox, which was the pick of Velocity Gaming. They won it 13-11, a close affair. But thanks to Enigma's work, the last round of that match made sure that Velocity didn't really have a bye going into that one. So, yeah, VLT just got completely screwed there. But then there's Split and there's Bind, which looks very, very convincing from VLT. 13-6 and 13-5, Crips. Not a scoreline I was anticipating between these two teams.
I thought it would be a lot closer than this one, especially Split. But historically, Split has been, it's proven to be very one-sided. Sometimes in the favor of Velocity, sometimes in the favor of Enigma. So 13-6 is, I think, a very moderate scoreline. But Bind, I definitely expected this one to be a lot closer. The defaults coming out from Enigma on Bind are pretty damn good, but the way Velocity dealt with them and the way they forced Enigma into making sure that the defaults turn into something that they always have to work above, they have to push through the defaults. That's just ridiculous. Imagine holding the defaults on the attacking side while you're Enigma, but every now and then someone from VLT peaks, they get a pick, they fall back. And now your default's just sitting there, doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened to Enigma Gaming over there. Unfortunately, it's their time to move down into the lower bracket. And they will be facing Team Exploit next. Keep in mind, Exploit have been on a roll. Even though they lost against True Rippers, Exploit were able to make it really, really competitive. And once they went down into the lower bracket, they destroyed Weird Esports 13-0. Now they're up against Enigma Gaming. And if Ascent gets chosen, then I think Team Exploit have what it takes to defeat Enigma Gaming too in a dominant fashion like that. Maybe not a 13-0 like they did to Weird Esports, but still it can be dominant. So Enigma have their work cut out for them. Velocity, on the other hand, they're going to be up against TEAMXO next. And it does, give you a little sense of comfort that you're in the upper bracket. You have a little safety net. You can go back down to the lower bracket if you lose. You're not completely eliminated from the tournament. But Enigma, Exploit, True Rippers, and Valor, they have absolutely no lifelines left.
Absolutely. And this is arguably the best part of the tournament because this is where those storylines start bearing fruit. Velocity Gaming and EXO is obviously going to be next. Enigma, they've got a tough match against Exploit. Then they've got another tough match against the winner of True Rippers and Valor. And then if they win that match, they either have to face EXO or Velocity again in the lower bracket. So, yeah, these next few matches can be very interesting, can be very, very labored, but they're not going to be happening today. They're going to be happening tomorrow. And if you want to make sure you catch them, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you click the bell notification icon so you know when we go live. And with that out of the way, I think this is going to be it from our side. So thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll see you on the other side. Before we go, any closing words, Crips?
I'm just really excited to get this part of Gauntlet started. This is what we've been building up to since all this time. Months and months of preparation from the team, followed by weeks of a grueling league stage, followed by an even more challenging playoff, only to move up towards the finals and the matches that lead up to it. At this point, the stakes are as high as ever, and we are just this close to crowning a new champion for Gauntlet. I hope all of you have subscribed to this channel already and clicked the bell icon, because the next few matches you definitely don't want to miss out on. Thank you so much for watching today, and that's it from our side. We'll see you again tomorrow.